this is for the one who ain't never had a love, yeah. This one's for the girl who don't feel like she's enough, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This one's for the cool kid playing on the school team, crying to himself cause he never had the prom queen. Head full of wants, but they said it's just a pipe dream, yeah. This one's for the kids like me, they never had one thing. The ladies always turn their cheek, but they ain't let the fat ones sing. This one's for the kids like me, kept working when they had nothing. When people try to take their dreams, they stuck it to them, please don't change. For the
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How is everybody doing out there on this Wednesday, February 4th, 2026? We have episode 189 coming at you, and we're excited to do it. Obviously, I keep on saying we because I'm used to David being around, but there is no David today. He is working. Maybe he will pop in and comment while he's at work and say hello. But wherever you are watching from, YouTube X, Facebook, Kick, Rumble, we appreciate you all. Make sure you like, share, follow, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And if you want to follow us everywhere on the socials, just go look at the Alex Cuesta Show. So last week, we had a good time. We were able to talk to This Is the Ray. He's a content creator on Rumble. He was a beat reporter over for the Washington Redskins, and we were ready. We were ready and willing to jump headfirst into a whole bunch of different topics on gaming and entertainment. And then we just quite literally talked about football for almost 2 hours. And it was an awesome show. We had a ton of fun. I will love to have Ray back on to talk nothing about gaming, which is what he does on Rumble, and just do a whole other football stream with him because it was a blast just talking ball. So that was a good time. Make sure you go check that out. Last night, David and I did a hangout stream. Make sure you go check out the hangout streams as well. But this week, I'm excited to bring this guest on because she's not necessarily a familiar face, but she has a familiar last name that astute watchers will be able to recognize. So let's bring her in. She is Olivia Dasovic. Olivia, what's going on?
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. If y'all don't know who I am, my name is Olivia Dasovic. I would say I'm best known for being the wife of Brett Dasovic, but I'm also known for being a YouTube content creator. I have a Rumble as well, just Olivia Dasovic, all those places on X. I love to post a good, good rant on X every once in a while. So y'all can find me there. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out my husband's show because they're getting so close to 400,000 subscribers. I'm so proud of them. Y'all should check out Pop Culture Crisis. They are live 5 days a week.
Yes, they are. Yeah, PCC is amazing. Brett was so much fun to have on, but we just won't tell Brett, but I already think Olivia's cooler than him. But
Thank you.
that's okay. But we're gonna have to do a marriage stream one day where we both have you on at some point. And then
Yes, that would be great.
yeah, we'll do that. But I want to talk about you instead because, like I said, you're cool, and we want to keep doing. So, Rollin, what's going on? Caveat Ties coming in saying, "Hey, hey, how are you, Rollin? I appreciate you for jumping on." But I want to start off with a little bit of a Debbie Downer. Want to give unfortunately, a lack of an update on the Nancy Guthrie situation, Savannah Guthrie's mom, 85 years old. Not much has really turned up. Savannah and her siblings released a video basically pleading to give their mother back. They're willing to negotiate. They're willing to compromise. They're willing to almost do anything. Just for anybody watching, your prayers, if you know anything, that's like if you're in Arizona, anything, please, or any way you can help out, please go do that because it's torture to watch this going on. And this is one of those things where, Olivia, you can attest to this. Just being human comes in. I don't agree with Savannah Guthrie on much of anything, but goddamn, this should never happen.
Correct.
So have you been paying attention to this situation and everything going on?
Yeah, I have. I've been kind of watching to see if there's any updates, and it looks like it's just her and her siblings are now, she didn't acknowledge it for first day or so, which was very surprising. But then she's been acknowledging it since. And my heart aches for them. I can't even imagine the amount of stress and what ifs and everything that they're going through. I can imagine they're trying to blame themselves, all these things, and we still don't know what's going on.
And I could imagine like it's definitely something touchy where you're a high profile individual like Savannah is, and how the police officers are like, maybe you saying something at this moment won't help us if we could just try and quickly go about this in silence. And now that it's come to a point where we almost 3 days in
Yeah.
this, and it's now trying to use her platform. But we're gonna pray for a hopefully positive outcome. Hopefully whoever has her will quite literally just want money. And I know there was like apparently a Bitcoin amount that was circulated, but we don't necessarily know what's true, because
Right.
initially it was her mother was hiking, but now we're finding out that the cameras were turned off and then they found blood. Like I
Yeah.
don't I don't know what to believe. So I guess we'll kind of find out more when this settles and wraps up. But uh, I'm just hoping that there is a positive ending, that even
Yeah.
if it's just that, they create a friggin' GoFundMe to raise the Bitcoin amount. Like, I don't care. I would contribute. If they did something like
Yeah.
that, like,
Yeah. 100%.
due to the GoFundMe just to get, Savannah Guthrie's mother back. And, yeah, it's just a tough situation. I couldn't imagine that being my parent or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So, that is tough, and just prayers out to them. But so now we're gonna make the awkward transition to probably a person who could use Jesus, and someone who faked really liking Jesus, it seems,
Yes, indeed.
for a long time. So David and I last night talked about Milo Yiannopoulos breaking open, a situation where, so we'll do the full quick synopsis of it if anyone hasn't been paying attention. Elijah Shaeffer went fucking crazy, which is not unnormal for him, but this was like
No.
even weird for him. He went on a very drugged out, drunken rant. His kids are missing. There's a police report. FBI is coming after him. Found his car got stolen. Thumbs up for finding his car while his kids and wife were missing. And then it all ends up that his wife is divorcing him, and he's actually divorcing her, but not. And then Milo's like, I'm done with this shit. I'm just gonna break everything open. His life's on a downward spiral. Might as well just ruin it all. And Milo, God, that thread was incredible, and the responses were incredible. Um, so first things first, what is your impression of Milo blowing the whole lid open on Elijah Shaeffer and Sarah Stock, who is a now former trad wife, um, having an affair for well over a year,
I mean, it's
right around
insane,
a
right?
year. Yeah,
Well, there's a lot of problems here. So, I mean, besides the obvious problems, Elijah was also her boss. And I think that's something that people haven't really pointed out too much, that I'm like, okay, he was also her boss.
yeah,
That's very important. And it reminds me a lot of the whole Ned Fulmer thing years ago, the try guy who like cheated on his wife with a
yep,
subordinate.
yep,
This is very reminiscent, but it's hitting closer to home because these are people that my friends are friends with. And
yeah.
so of course, disavow all of that behavior. We all disavow it, but I think that goes without saying. But I mean, and I wasn't shocked necessarily. I was like disappointed,
I
I
mean, what
think.
about, and like anyone that's in or knows people really within the conservative movement, is not surprising when we find this stuff out, because more and more is the lids blowing open on like what goes on at TPUSA events and what goes on at
Yeah,
CPAC and a lot of these things.
yeah.
And it's really, social media is such a disease, and the fame through social media is such a disease. Like it sucks too, because you really feel bad for Sarah Stock's husband, who
Yeah.
was cucked for a year and, was
Before they
being
were
told
married.
before they
Like
were
her
married.
new husband.
Yeah, being told that I'm a virgin and I'm saving myself for you, while she was, you know, I get the power imbalance thing with the like boss and everything, but she was going back to the well over and over and over. Apparently,
Oh yeah.
there was definitely more of something she wanted to do. And then obviously for Kezia and, and then and Elijah and Kez's child, where Kez is someone that was on his show on Slightly Offensive for how long post him getting removed from You Are Here. It's like,
Yep.
God, everything
And was
about this
on You Are
sucks.
Here as well with the same women that he allegedly had also harassed over
Yeah.
a given
Yeah.
amount of time, and not that she knew any of that, but she also is from Australia, so she moved here,
Hmm.
presumably to be with him. That's a big thing to do for somebody,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And he was
to be
living in
fair,
Australia for how long after all that? Like
yeah,
he like
after
ran
leaving the
away, kind
Blaze.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long
Mm.
time, and then they finally came back, and, I can't speak about, "Oh, moving for a guy," because I kinda did that, but it worked out, obviously, and, as Brett said last night, it's really good that we're such boring people. We don't go to these
Oh
events that
god.
much. We
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
like, if we went to, America Fest or whatever, it'd be because they had a booth or something that we needed to be at,
Well, yeah,
but
because obviously PCC is under the Timcast umbrella, right? So when the
right.
Timcast crew goes, Brett, Mary, and you obviously are going to go there to support Brett, support Timcast, and everything going
Of
on.
course. Right, but we wouldn't go to, like, the parties. We'd literally be there at the event. We'd be like, "Okay, let's go get, like, a pizza and go back to our room and just hang out all night," because we're not those people, and I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
to say you're a trad or you're in this movement, and when you're gonna be conservative, you ask what you're conserving, and conserving traditional culture or traditional values is a big one. And I'm not
Hmm.
saying you have to every single thing you do has to be, exactly, like, by biblical standards or whatever. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
But I would think that cheating on someone is kind of a no-brainer in that movement, and especially again, like you said, it wasn't, and again, I still don't think it would be good if it was like a one-night thing, but
No.
that's more forgivable than however long going back, and I guess there were rumors that they told each other they were in love with each other, and he said he was gonna leave Kezia for her, and
Well, Milo had that recording.
yeah, where
Milo
she
had like the
admitted it.
re-recordings where Elijah admitted, like, he told her he loved her, and she said she loved him, and I mean, it's such a messy, messy, messy thing that's
Yeah.
going on, and so I guess the natural question for you, being a lady who is in the conservative movement and is now obviously trying to make headwinds as a true conservative content creator, commentary, how do you feel like this affects your status and women in conservatism and things like that? Because we have seen, Lauren Southern well over a year ago, and Lauren
Mhm.
Southern was another person who like got pretty big because of Timcast. How often was
Ye
she was big before that, but then like Tim had her on, and she always drank out of the friggin'
yeah.
good alcohol out of the paper cup. That should have been a
Yeah.
sign for everyone.
It should have
But
been.
then you had Ashley St. Clair quite literally just going after being a gold digger. And now, Sarah Stock, who seemed pretty solid. Like, for all intents and purposes, Sarah's opinions were solid. Like, she did kind of turn on Trump, but you know what? It is what it is. You're allowed to do those things, right? You're
Yeah,
allowed to have those
exactly.
disagreements. So, how do you feel as a woman jumping into this, being like, damn, like, what are your feelings with all this stuff going on?
I mean, this might be the worst and best time to jump into it now that there's this kind of void, I guess.
I
I
love it.
think it's gonna be hard for a lot of people to trust. I think I'm at an advantage because people know of my husband,
Yeah.
and they know that he is not a bad person and he does not behave in an unbecoming way, and that he would not marry somebody that was behaving in an unbecoming way either.
Yeah.
Like, we don't drink, right? Like, I mean, there's so many things we don't do for myriad of reasons. One of them being that it just leads to bad things no matter what. I mean, the worst or the best it could lead to is a hangover in the morning. The worst could be obviously what we've seen happen. And so
And
we
it's
don't partake in
expensive.
any of,
It's a
yeah, well,
waste of
yeah, that
money.
too. We don't partake in any of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just hope that people knowing we only heard about the crazy ones. Yeah, that's true, but I
Yeah.
think that people knowing, so I'm kind of a leg up in that sense. People have been exposed to me through Brett
Yeah.
and through PCC chat. I'm there almost every day interacting with the audience and saying hi to
Mhm.
everybody. But it is a bit intimidating to know that people are sharing the girl group chat. Like Pearl Davis posted a bunch of screenshots, which I have my own opinions on her. But besides that, she's posted screenshots of girl chats. Like, who can you trust is really the big question here as a woman. And for me, as a woman, I don't trust anyone my husband doesn't trust to begin with. But
Mhm.
if he's like, oh, I wouldn't, or like if Mary were to say, behind the scenes that she's a little iffy on somebody, I would trust their judgment. They've been in the space longer than I have, but it can be a bit scary when you think about going into this space and what that can mean as a woman, and people are going to make assumptions about you, and they're going to think that just because you're a woman, like I don't know. I mean, it's scary, but I also know that I'm not somebody that behaves in that manner. So I really have nothing to be afraid of, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that people aren't going to make assumptions.
Of course, and, and I just wanna thank Brett in that case because obviously he was like, "Hey, Alex doesn't suck. Go on his show." So,
Yes,
I
he did. He
appreciate
was like
that.
he did. He's like, "He's gonna message you. You should do it." And I was like, "Okay."
Well, yeah,
So,
just a quick backstory. Like, I saw that you made content, and like, as a, I obviously have a wife and things like that, and like, as a fellow man, I'm like, I've talked to Brett before. I'm not just gonna go and message his wife. That
right,
would be like super sketch, even if it was all just business. Just like
right.
I would feel like I'd be disrespecting him, and and so for me, it was like I at least was like, hey. I didn't know your wife was making content. Would you be cool if I asked
Yeah,
her to come on? Like, and obviously you guys are awesome, but it was like, that's kind of how like pull back the curtain. But I think that also comes with having a little more of those morals and those values, right? Like,
right.
I've never met either of you in person. I haven't met Brett in person, but I've talked to him. I like Brett. I like the things he puts out.
He's
So it's just
alright, yeah.
not to be a sleaze. Yeah, that's what you have to say, right? I don't know. It would just be something about like feeling sleazy about like messaging his wife, like outside of like,
Sure.
just not like, I don't know. That would have just been weird. But I'm happy it all worked out and you are here. So we're gonna make Rollin happy. Caveat ties over here. So if I think I mentioned this to Brett. Have you ever heard of Criticless?
I don't think so.
So it is a website started by one of our former guests, but he did this before, Blaine Andrews. It's a
Okay.
website and also an app where it's like an answer to Rotten Tomatoes, where you can go on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can go on, create your own account. You could then put your own ratings for movies, like any movie, any TV show. And it's a community that they can comment on your stuff, they can like it. Everyone can leave their own ratings. So like whatever movie you want to go search up, they probably have a score and a rating for it based on the users, and you could see their comments and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Oh, I see
So
it. Okay, yeah.
and it has a cool 80s aesthetic. It's really dope. So yeah,
Yeah,
search any movie
I love
up in there.
that.
And Criticless is dope. But so I recommend, especially for I know Brett probably has you watching a ridiculous amount of movies and TV. Um
We
so
could do a whole episode on that.
you should 100% have a critic list, and your critic list should be Olivia, Brett forced me to watch this. And then you should do the things that Brett forced you to watch and rate them all.
And I mean, he's been very good. His track record's very good, and he would want me to tell you guys it's very good on figuring out what I would like and showing me shows. He's only missed he's made a lot more. I mean, probably 80%, 90% of the things he's shown me I've liked. And
That's
there's
good.
been some where like he's like, "Oh, I thought you'd like it, but I get why you don't." But then a lot of movies. So they'll do movie reviews and then, he'll be like, "Well, you come, I'll buy you a ticket." So going tomorrow to see Shelter, I think it's called.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not an action movie person, but I love the fries with the beer cheese at the movie theater, and we have a gift card, and I'm down to go and spend Friday night with my husband at the movie
That's
theater.
nice,
So,
right?
but I still watch and I still can. So I really should
Yeah,
do
go on
like
Criticless. Oh, you would love it. You
I
would
just
love it. It's a
downloaded the
great
app, so
community.
I'm gonna explore that later, and then I'll have
There you
to
go.
when he does his review, I'll have to put up my own there.
When you have a username, let me know. I'll go follow you. I'm not as active as I should be
Yeah,
there, but
no,
I
I
know
will. Yeah.
Caveat Ties. That's how uh Caveat Ties came to the show because of Blaine, and he's really
Oh,
active on there. So Caveat will go follow you as
nice.
well.
Sweet.
So I do want to comment about this in terms of the whole entire Milo blowing the lid open. So Isabella DeLuca decided to get involved. And
Of course
Milo has gone
she
at
does.
her for years. Like that's not it hasn't been
Yeah,
anything new.
that's been a thing for a while.
He's basically called her fat since the moment she's existed. Like, and it's
Yes.
really mean, but he has called her chubby this whole time. And I don't know Isabella. I really have no opinions on Isabella. I think I might have messaged her to come on the show one time. She ignored me. I lifted. It is what it is. But he basically has come out and accused her of infidelity with the congressman. Like, what the hell was going on in this space, Olivia?
Well, I think what happened is, again, and we said this before we went live, you don't mess with Milo Yiannopoulos.
No, he knows
I've
everything.
spoken to Milo before. If you guys don't know, Tim has a Discord. I should be plugging this, of course, but Tim has a Discord where a bunch of us volunteer and do things. And
Yeah.
every night, 6 to 8 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, I'm in there doing a pre-show. It's me and my co-host Slick, and we're just community members. We don't, it's nothing crazy, but we're community members. We go and then they'll have either their guests or their third chair come on and kind of video conference in with us, and
Yeah.
we can ask them questions directly from the audience, directly from the community members. It's a great way to engage with the community. And it helps that I know them and I know the community. So it's been really cool. But Milo came on one time when he was on with George Santos, I believe in
Oh my
December.
God,
And
that was quite an episode.
that was a crazy episode. We talked to him right before that. And I remember saying, I was like, "Milo, I know we don't know each other, but I will never cross you." And he was like, "You shouldn't." I was like, "Okay, thank you." He knows. Sorry, my
He seems
cat's
like
distracting.
your best ally if
And
you
worst
like
enemy.
your best ally if like you're on his side, but your worst enemy if you're not. Like the
Yeah.
only person he was unable to bury in his scorn was Donald Trump. Like there was a little while where Trump pissed him off and he was trying to go at Trump and might be the only person that he has not been able to actually bring down. Everyone else, like,
I
he's
mean,
been going
especially,
at
like, he's got the dirt on everybody, right? So, like, I don't know where he gets this information. I I don't know. He knows people who know people who know people or something because he's always got sources, right? And respect, honestly, I guess, for being well connected because he's been around so long. I think
yeah.
he's just built up stuff, and I think it really is. Isabella was kind of being a mean girl. A lot of, and the one thing I haven't liked in this entire thing is that people have kind of dogpiled on both Sarah and on Elijah in a mean girl style way. Both men and women have been
Yeah.
doing this,
Yeah.
and I can't imagine either of their spouses seeing that behavior. I say, it's good to talk about and bring that information to light and who's influencing you. It's good to know who they really are. But dragging them through the mud just because you've been waiting for something to drag them with is the problem. And so I think that's why I think Milo was like, yes, I'm putting this out there, but I still don't like you. And that doesn't mean that we're allies. And so I think she just said something that just, he was in the wrong mood and he went off. I don't think he'll ever, you know what? One person I don't think he'll ever go off on though is Tim. And I can say that because Tim was helping when Milo's cat went missing. Tim
Yep.
was blasting that out. He was like, Tim has been such a good friend. So I feel safer knowing that.
Yeah.
But still, whew.
I feel with Milo, and I don't know if he'd agree or not, but being a gay man has certain powers because for whatever reason, women
Oh
trust
yeah,
gay men. They trust
they
gay men
do.
because they're the gay guest friends. So I could have just imagined him being at these events. He just hears all the gossip and they all feel the need to talk to him. And even now, knowing who Milo is, that Milo's kind of a kingmaker in a way. Just
Yeah,
knowing that the people still spill the tea to him. It's almost like he's James O'Keefe, but he doesn't need a disguise. People just do
correct.
it. Like,
They
and I
do.
don't and I don't get it. But listen, it's nice to have Milo on our side in a lot of ways, like on the right and trying to like keep MAGA afloat. And I mean, listen, if it is his crusade to get all of the false trad thoughts out of the movement, I'm actually kind of here for it.
I am too. You know what? I think I can say that not as a woman, a married woman, and a Christian woman. I think I can say on behalf of all of us who are in that camp or those who are Christian women who are online, I can say like we don't want the bad apples there. This goes for it's the same thing you see with like when cops, there's like one bad cop, and so now all
Yep.
the cops are bad. It's the same thing. Like one bad conservative woman influencer doesn't mean all of us are poisoned or all of us are bad. I think that this has really taught the lesson of be careful who you're trusting with not your
Yes.
just your
Yes.
mind, your time.
Mhm.
Make sure that you're investing in the right people. And there's been rumors about Elijah for a long time. So
Yes.
anyone that was like really investing in him, that was already like he had rumors for years. Sarah, that one was kind of crazy. That one I was not exactly expecting. Like, I don't know. I didn't know if she was like the nicest person, but I didn't think that she was that.
Yeah.
That's
No.
crazy.
It's one of those things too. It's like it doesn't matter if it's a male or female. Whenever I see anyone who's like not a pastor or didn't come into the game very religious, starting to spew just like super religious stuff and become holier than thou, I roll my eyes. Like I'm a Christian. Like I'm a Christian. Like I have nothing against people who want to sometimes talk about their Christianity, but then you have some of these people that you know who they were. Right. And a lot of them were
Yeah.
like shock jocks at first. And then boom, all of a sudden, now they're like quoting the Bible every other
Yeah.
verse. And it's like, come on now. Like, and those are kind of like you almost see through them. Like you the ones that try that hard are never like super Christian. Shane is Wilder saying
Shane.
never F with Milo. The Gata, the gay data
Hey,
he has
Data.
immense. I may be a boring nobody, but I'm sure he has ish on me. Yeah, honestly, He probably has shit on everybody.
Shane's
Like,
awesome, by the way. Shane's great. Shane's a long time, I would say, one of the OG viewers of PCC, and has become a friend of ours over time. And
that's
Shane
awesome.
is awesome. I have to give Shane a shout out here. I know he's got a, I'll always plug things for people because I'm
Oh,
not
absolutely.
that
Go ahead.
friend. But Shane, if you guys follow Shane H. Wilder on X, he has a mini doc thing coming out about
Go do
going
that right now.
to the March for Life. Um, so that should be coming out this week. So you guys should go follow him because Shane's awesome. Shane's good people. If you want more
Absolutely.
good
Listen,
people, and
any
he's a good Catholic, go follow him.
I'm like in the camp that there's certain people like obviously like when you interview we're at 189 episodes. Like you interview a good amount of people, you get vibes and some of them it's just an interview, cool, we're fine, right? But then
Sure,
there's other people that like you kind of get vibes from and you're
sure.
still friendly and it's like if they like somebody similar with you, if Brett and Mary have a feeling about somebody, then
Yep.
they're cool. Like I like Brett. And I've watched what Brett does. Brett gives off vibes. If Brett says somebody's cool, if that community says someone's cool, we've had Shane Cashman on the show. I don't always agree with Shane, but Shane's an honest broker. If Shane says somebody's cool, I'm cool with Shane.
Yeah.
So there's certain people that you have that feeling with. So if you guys say that Shane H. Wilder's cool, I'm
He's
in.
good people. He's talk about good, religious people that you
Yeah,
should follow in the space. Shane is, very devout Catholic, good guy. I'm a Christian. I don't practice Catholicism, but I
yeah.
can. You're welcome. Okay, noon Eastern. You're welcome, Shane. He's good people. I've learned that over time because I'm very cautious with befriending people that are like fans of something because that can always lead to whatever. So I'm always cautious. But over the last 2 years, yes, I did. I made my account and followed you, caveat. I was just gonna say I did that as you're saying it. I like made my account. But yes, Shane's great people. He's somebody that I would recommend following. He's always, at Vespers and other Catholic things that I don't understand. So
So I think that's also an extra layer that's added that I don't understand like a lot of like women in the space. Like obviously women in the space have to I think be a little more careful. I think women in general kind of have to be a little more careful with how many psychos there are out there, but
yeah,
especially when
sure.
you're putting yourself out there as a content creator, you do have to be careful with who you affiliate with. Now, it's nice again that you and Brett work closely in a similar space, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of the people you guys will have like a lot of cross fans and things like that. But talk about that like because obviously like the trust thing and like putting content out there, how does that work in terms of for you in terms of keeping people at arm's length and knowing okay this individual just because they're commenting a ton or just because they're in the future leaving you super chats and rumble rants and
Mhm.
I don't necessarily know if I could trust them. I think there was that
Sure.
Twitch streamer in Japan that got murdered 2 years ago, like that. So how do you feel about that?
So I think a big thing moving forward for me now that I'm really gonna start ramping this up is gonna be keeping those close that were already close. Um, And I don't know how that's gonna I think I'm just gonna, if I ever feel like there's a problem, I'm gonna go to my husband immediately because 'cause he'll understand more than most people would. And I've definitely known of people to be a bit too parasocial, even with
Yeah.
me, and I'm, right now I'm just starting content creating, but because I'm the wife of a guy, right? Then people think, "Oh, I know Olivia," and they'll say something, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I like tweeted about it one time, but that doesn't mean that I'm like, that's like a big thing about me. Oh, thanks, Chris. I know who this Chris person is.
Or that
I
you've
see
been, like,
you.
in the Discord chat, and maybe they've been in the
Yeah. And
Timcast Discord, and
so,
now I know you, and it's like,
yeah, yeah.
we've
So,
exchanged messages, doesn't mean like, even, like,
right.
in this space, like, I do interviews, and I'm friendly, but it's like, I met Brett, I don't know Brett, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I like him,
Yeah.
he's cool, I like his content, but it's like, I don't know you, I like you guys, but
Yes,
it's like
you can know someone and not know somebody, right? So you
yeah,
can like know
yeah,
of them or be acquaintances with them, and I think that's an important term to use is an acquaintance or a friend, right? So plenty of
yes,
acquaintances out there, and it's funny. Chris is in the. I met him through the Timcast Discord. He was at my wedding. He's a good friend of mine now,
that's
but
fantastic.
he can tell you. People will say something. Can you tell? Can you tell Tim? Can you tell Brett? Immediately no. Like, can I? Yeah. Will I? No. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's another thing is knowing who's there to take advantage of you and who's there because they care about you and they're your friend. And so I think moving forward, I'm going to be a little more gatekeepy about who my friends are. So if you're already my friend, congratulations, because I'm keeping my friends close, keeping my circle tight. I know that. Um,
Oh
yes, and
man.
Adam in chat here, I met Adam in the You Are Here live
Arguably
chat.
my best part was
Yes,
You Are listen, I liked You Are Here. Me and
I
David
did
have been on the
too.
You Are Here was fun, especially in the beginning. There was a flip, and it was after I forget the cuck's name that went after Sid, but whoever the guy that when she asked him a perfectly fair
Oh
question.
my gosh, yeah, wait, no, what was that?
I forget
Adam
his
might
name, and he
remember
kinda
who
went
that
away.
is.
Jack something? Was it Jack?
Jack, oh man, Adam, do you remember? Because I remember that too, bro. Jack, oh, it's like right on the tip of my tongue. Oh, the guy with the beard, what was his
Yeah,
name?
and he was
Yeah,
like a tough guy bravado, and he
he
put
like
out a
melted
thing
down.
basically saying, like, he liked sitting in the cuck chair watching his girl get
Yeah,
plowed. He wrote a thing
and she like
about it.
asked about it and
And
he
he went
freaked
off,
out.
and that
Yeah.
kind of changed the whole trajectory of the show. It was, ever since then, I feel like the trust was down, and Elijah's kind of excuse was a little shaky of like, I'm not gonna white knight for her. But
Yeah,
at
and
the same time,
he should, because like, that guy was r bad. Like,
you don't
that's
have to
your
white knight.
co-host.
Yeah, you don't have to white knight, but it could just be like, hey man, relax. She asked a question. Like, I don't
Especially
know.
in person, there's that physical, part of it that's a little, yeah, what was his name? Jack? Oh, I'm gonna have to
I
find
don't
it.
know. He
I'm
went
sure I
away.
can find it
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I should just message, I've spoke to Sydney before, I should just message her and be like, "What was that guy's name that totally crashed out?" Jack Murphy, thank you. Yes, Jack Murphy. I knew I would know it when someone said it.
I don't have to
Yes,
ask you to tell anyone anything. We all know the same people. I'll tell them
that's
myself.
true. Yes,
Jack
Jack
Murphy. Yeah.
Murphy, that's who it was, and I think with that physical space and being there in person, like, he probably should have stood up and just been like, "Yo, dude," like, so
But
he at
here's
least
the thing,
knew.
Sydney's more intimidating than Elijah, that's also the problem.
She's also very tall, yeah, like, she would probably tower over me, but I and she was just asking, like, a super chat too, like, it wasn't even, like, her question, it was just,
Yeah,
like, responding, and,
he went
it's
off.
funny how all this ties in now with Elijah, with everything going on. So, like, Adam's here, and I met him in the You Are Here chat, and we've just stayed connected online since the show, went away, and now he's here on the night we're talking about Elijah Shaeffer.
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
is funny, and I appreciate anyone that's jumping in for Olivia. If you feel
"Yes,
so
thank you."
inclined to hang around and smash the like button and subscribe, appreciate that as well. But yeah, that was such an interesting dynamic shift after that too. And it's like it was weird too because they always did have the whole entire me and Elijah are equal. We can defend ourselves, we can take care of ourselves. Like
Right.
they really did play into the whole equality thing and the whole joke. I thought it was always hilarious when they got the super chats to take away Sydney's rights. Like that was the
As
flying
a
spaghetti
woman,
monster
I love
jokes.
those jokes. As a Can I
Yeah,
just say, like, as a woman,
that was
I
funny.
make those jokes all the time. Like, my friends can tell you,
Mhm.
I'm always joking. They'll be like, "Oh, it's because this." I'm like, "No, it's because 'cause I'm a woman." And then we, like, laugh. Like, it's funny.
Yeah, it's
I think
funny.
people can have good humor, but then it was, like, almost like the humor left with Elijah,
Yeah.
and it became a real thing.
Mhm.
Um, and thanks, Chris. Um, Typical Chris.
I haven't
But
decided on the like and sub yet. You know what, Chris? Now I don't want it, God damn it. Now you could keep it. Nate, what's going on, man? So it's funny too, you mentioned like keeping the close friends because I quite literally like we're a small show still, and that's okay.
Mhm,
But I've quite literally made a list of like the day ones that I've been around and stuff. And it's like those will always be the people that if we eventually get monetized and things like
mhm,
that, I I'll read super chats, but they will be the ones that they don't have to super chat to get read. Like they will always be people that I will
correct.
100% because they've been here. Um, Adam saying it's when the Goipers took over. I think that's part of it, and I think
I do
also
too.
it's when you started to see less of John Doyle coming around. And John Doyle was like someone who
John's
was
great.
awesome on
Love
the
John.
show. John's
Mhm.
doing great things on Blaze. I'm pumped that he's really working with them.
Yeah,
But you started to see less of John Doyle. You started to see less of some of the repeat guests that really
correct.
made the show strong as
And it was,
well.
like, just him, and it was almost, like, weird because he was literally in a closet, like, playing with dolls. Like, I don't know how else to
Yeah,
say that other than he was
yeah,
literally doing
it
that.
was bizarre.
And it was just kinda got weird after a while. Um, but there we go. I was just gonna shout out Chris's podcast too. He has the Quiet Part Pod. He's
Nice,
also a
thank
small
you, Chris.
creator in this space.
Yes,
And he's good people. I can vouch for him. So,
I like that the good
yes.
people are coming here. The bad people could stay away. We only
They
want
can
the good
stay
people.
away, but Chris, Quiet Part Podcast, he's been working really, really hard. He's good people. I've been on his show. It's been a while now. Normally it overlaps with my pre-show that I do on Tim's Discord,
Yeah.
but he's awesome. So you guys should absolutely um, like sub with all Chris's stuff and here. If you don't do it here, you're lame, and you don't want to be lame. So you better like and sub here as well.
Don't be lame and gay, damn it. Do
True.
not. So
True.
overall, with everything that went on, does now that we've seen some of these women, especially the ones that were like very holier than thou, does this
Mhm.
hurt the overall Christian message of the right? Because we've seen such a battle, such an infight overall, especially since Charlie died. Charlie was
Yeah.
really holding the whole entire Christian value, moral ethics. And I know Milo didn't like Charlie. He made that very obvious on the George Santos episode.
Yes.
Um, but has this hurt the messaging? Because now it's like we're gonna look at every tradcath and be like,
Yeah.
are you though? Especially if they're not married with kids and things like that, or like,
Mhm.
you and Brent are married, so like very different. Like Rachel
Mhm.
Wilson and Andrew Wilson. Rachel's married and
They're married,
waited,
yeah.
to start really have her career. Like we have, Peachy
Mhm.
Keenan. I know married, like kind of trad
Yep.
wife. Like
Love her too, yeah.
yeah, Peachy's fantastic, and it's like, but all of these like Pearl, super single, not not married, and like
I have
I
so many
disagree with
opinions.
Paul. Listen, Pearl's got a dub in this one.
Oh
Like
god.
she needed this
Yeah.
after the Anna Kasparian
She
debacle,
really
but
did. Oh, she needs more than this, but she's clawing back, you know?
she's clawing back. And the thing too, I will say, while the release of the group chat was kind of like a breach in privacy, it wasn't anything bad. It was actually kind of funny. Like the parts that she
Yeah.
released, I cracked up at it. Like Pearl actually had some pretty good comedic timing in some of her jokes, and even seeing
Mhm.
like Isabella joking and stuff like that, and
Sure.
Rachel in there. It's surprising to see Rachel Wilson mixing up with that group, though. I think that kind of,
That is weird, right? Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
think
wouldn't think she would
well,
affiliate with some of them.
I think that goes back to who you can trust. So knowing
Yeah,
Pearl will like potentially screenshot and share any conversation. I would never want ever in my life have a single conversation with her over text unless it was very much just me being like, okay, let's set up this thing, right? I would never put anything in writing with her that I don't trust coming out of my own mouth into her ears, and that's it.
yeah, yeah,
So it's I think it does hurt a little bit, at least in the interim. I think Christians, Catholics are all gonna have to kind of gain some ground back right now because it's it's not good, you know. And again, I think you're saying like people that suddenly make that twist to faith, it can be a very beautiful thing. There's been many examples of people finding faith and
yeah,
really turning
yeah.
their lives around. But when it almost looks performative,
Mhm.
and someone that gets critiqued quite a lot in the space is Nala Ray for quitting OnlyFans, but she didn't do it as performative as some of these other women I've seen
Yeah,
do it. You know, like I don't. She still makes videos that people are like, "Ugh, I don't know about that," and to me, that seems honest. That tells me that she's honest in what she's doing. And that sudden shift out of nowhere and then going and meeting the Pope, I don't know. It just all was a little bit too
yeah.
performative for me. And like, it's one thing you meet the Pope, that's cool, but like they get the picture taken and posted online just because you want people to be
It's
like, look,
so
I saw the
amazing to
Pope.
have my
Like,
wedding,
blessed
blessed
by
by
the
the
Pope.
Pope, and it's like, bitch, go away. Like,
Also, like, why like, I don't know, like, to me, there's so many things that as much as I'd probably love to share them, it's kinda like when you share good deeds, are they really good deeds kinda thing. We shared about our wedding, and we shared, you know, as it happened, and we like to be public. I know people love to kind of watch our relationship, and they've
yeah,
watched it
yeah,
since the beginning, really. I love giving people that little bit of insight, but there's so much people don't know. There's so much people don't understand.
as
So I
they
think to let
shouldn't
people
know,
in
right?
right,
Yeah.
and like those intimate moments where
Mhm.
like I didn't post like our first kiss, like married, whatever. We didn't post that. I didn't post much about yes, my Pope is not your photo shoot.
I
That's good.
yeah,
That's
that's
very
listen.
true.
But it's like also it's like you and Brett obviously will have disagreements at home. You're married. Like you'll have arguments and things like that. Like, and God bless both of you that you're not the type that's gonna go run to X to your followers and complain about that, because there are people that do that, that air their
Oh
dirty
yeah.
laundry out
Well, Milo.
everywhere. Yeah, yeah, Milo. But
Milo. Well, he does it
here's
for
the thing.
other people, but yes.
Milo doesn't. And Milo is an interesting case. And again, I was talking with David about this yesterday. Milo is a man that has nothing to lose because it's all been laid out, right? He's similar
True.
to some of these blood sport veterans on, during the blood sport debates. Like, Kino Casino is a perfect example. You're not going to go at PPP and Worski as they're exposing everything and going at everyone's grief, because they've had the worst of them splayed out on the internet
Yeah.
about 10 years ago. So they have nothing to lose. So
I
when
think that's
people have
why
nothing
he's
to lose, yeah.
yeah, I think that's why he can just do what he wants, and also people fear him, which probably helps, but, I fear him, and it's okay.
Everyone fe
I should say I fear God the most, but I fear him next, okay? That's all I'm saying, like, if it's in that order.
I made an X post
Woo.
last night. I'm like, all conservative influencers need to go to their confessions to the Church of Milo now and
Yeah,
make sure and just confess it now, get it done with.
Milo's just
Um,
gay, he loves
and
drama. I mean, yeah, like, look, I have other opinions. I like Milo generally fine. He's just,
yeah,
I don't wanna
Milo
say
was the
too much
epitome
because
of
he
a buzz
scares
for
me.
him in the gun.
He's, I mean, there's just so much going on here. There's so many aspects to this. I think something people are kind of breezing by right now that we should also point out is that she allegedly had an abortion to hide this affair.
And that
And
was
if
very
oh,
unconfirmed. That
it's
in
unconfirmed, right, but
yeah,
allegedly she did,
allegedly.
right? And if this is true, you're going and taking pictures with the Pope, knowing you just had a 6-month affair with a married man, knowing you aborted his child,
Mhm,
that's a child, like, you killed a whole child to hide your indiscretions
mhm.
when, there is even when people are a bit more relaxed on the right about it and say, "Oh, in these certain cases,"
But
it's
that's
never been infidelity. It has never been infidelity. That
no.
has never been one of the cases that people bring up, and I would just say that for converts to stay off, yeah, I think people need to, especially those 2, but people need to step away and really focus on their faith, and that's coming from someone who's online and also I'm
Yeah,
not, like,
yeah.
the most Christian, but I am a Christian, and I
Mhm,
will, profess my faith,
yeah.
and I have no problem with that, and I do think that it's just when it becomes performative, that's when you should ask questions. I think you should ask questions when there are already allegations out there and you continue to blindly support somebody. I think right now the biggest thing I can say, especially as a Christian, is to pray for those families because I can't
Yeah.
imagine, especially because her whole life just got turned
Ugh.
upside down. And she filed for divorce first, apparently in
And then
Texas.
he did it
I
in Florida to be
because
spiteful,
it was
like
like they're more public with their stuff gets public quicker, and I think he was kind of probably like, "Oh, well, people would see that I did it, and they don't see that,
but this is
she
almost
did
like the
it."
thank God for Milo, right? Because without Milo, no one would have seen Kez do it first, and everyone would have thought that Elijah did it.
Yeah, because he
And
shared that, yeah.
for like the Sarah Stock point of view, the abortion's worse in so many ways. Because I really feel like
Oh, yeah.
if she would have just gotten pregnant and came out with it and said, "Listen, this has been going on because I have sinned, but I won't do an abortion. Like the infidelity happened. I've done this, but I refuse to go as far as an abortion. I'm going to have this child. I understand if my husband wants an annulment now, blah, blah, like, and I feel like everyone on the right would have been like, gross,
But I
but
think
at
they
least he
weren't
didn't kill
even
a kid.
married. Like, they wouldn't have even
No,
been like, they may have been
no,
engaged, but
yeah,
they
they were
probably
engaged. They
would've
weren't even married.
yeah,
There
they
was,
weren't so, like, you don't even need annulment, like,
yeah. Oh my
at that
god.
point, I
Oh,
mean, to me, because I see abortion as killing a child, right? So,
100%.
for me, ending that life of a child because you're embarrassed about your behavior is one of the most disgusting, most egregious. It's worse than the affair. It's worse than everything else. It is, I mean, I can't even like put into words how disgusting that is. My gut's never wrong. I unfollowed Elijah days before this happened. I
Yeah.
unfollowed him quite a while
The
ago,
only
probably 2
Sarah
years
Stock
ago
I know is
now.
an indie wrestler, same gal. No, Nate, Sarah Stock is actually a former trad wife, conservative influencer. And she used to work for Rift TV, which was Elijah's attempt at coming back. Which what happened? He wasn't at Gateway Pundit. What happened to that?
I have no
Because
idea.
I thought when he was like left ablaze, he went to Gateway Pundit. And yeah, I
He
don't
did, and then I think he's been I think they probably let him go too, if I had to make a guess, because I think they're still
remember.
active.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
looks like all the funding for Rift was already drying up, and this was probably part of it. People probably knew behind the scenes stuff was going on and wouldn't give money or whatever. And anyway, she was a part of that. She's a girl. She's from
yeah,
Canada.
yeah.
Came to the United States. Has very much like disavowed Canadian politics and Canadian policies, and now
Which you can't
is
blame
in
her.
the space. I can't blame her there. Look, we went to Canada on our honeymoon, which people love to make fun of us for because we went to Niagara Falls, spent a couple days in Toronto. We got married in Michigan, guys. It's right there.
Oh,
So,
but yeah, yeah. I'm
um,
over. I'm in New York. Like Niagara Falls is
yeah,
6 hour drive, like 5 hour
and it's
drive. It's not
beautiful.
far.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
beautiful there,
I've
right?
never
So
been, I wanna go to the Canadian
it's
side. I hear the
gorgeous.
New York side is hot garbage.
Don't go
Gotta go to
don't
the
go to
Canadian
the
side.
no, the Canadian side has all the, like, really kitschy, fun things that you can do that are like the wax
So,
museums and it's fun,
I
it's really fun, I would
I wanna
always
get to
recommend
this.
it.
Said,
But
was Elijah
hey,
conservative? He used to claim to not be conservative on You Are Here and Slightly Offensive. And I will say this,
yeah,
Elijah was on the right. And I
yes,
think he flirted with conservatism more often than not. He started off as he was a conservative. He did be, but I think it's fair that he kind of got like kind of browbeaten over all the crap that went on
yeah,
and all of he's one of the people that Elijah did know people while he was on the ground. It wasn't like Elijah wasn't somebody that wasn't in the know, wasn't connected to some pretty high profile people within the conservative movement. And I mean, he was one of the people that was a little bit ahead of the curve of being like, I want the right to win, but they suck so bad that they can't help themselves but losing. Like he was on there in the beginning. So Elijah wasn't all bad. I used to like a lot of Elijah's takes. He went
yeah.
insane after he left You Are Here, completely insane.
Yeah, You Are Here, I was always more favorable to Sydney than I was Elijah,
I like
but I
both.
liked them
They had a
both.
great
I liked them
dynamic.
both, right?
Yeah.
I like their dynamic. I do quickly want to say, going back to our first topic of Savannah Guthrie's
Yeah.
mother, I just saw this pop up. Donald Trump is now directing all federal law enforcement to be at their disposal to help find her mother. So
Which
that's a
is amazing of him.
yes, as a very, again, because they don't agree, I'm
So
sure,
this
on
also
most
begs the
anything.
question though. If Biden was still in power or Obama or even in the future, and let's just say, God forbid a conservative, I'm not going to say any other names. I don't wish this on anyone, but a
Yeah.
strong conservative person from Fox News or The Blaze or Daily Wire had a similar situation. Do
No, they
you
would not
think,
help.
you
No.
know what, they would have sent words? They would have been like, this is terrible. They might have not, they probably wouldn't have said anything. They probably would have ignored it happening. But I think we
Yeah.
also have to remember Trump is so different because Trump has sat down. He probably knows Savannah Guthrie personally
No, didn't
because of
she
his
do a
life.
town hall with him,
I
like,
think she
a
did a
few years
town
ago? She was the
hall.
one at the town hall, and you know what? Trump is a lot of things, and he can come off very aggressive, and he can come off, you know, to different people as different things, but they freed up 700 ICE agents to so they can help find her. That's true,
They
they
did
did.
free up 700.
Yeah, that's the whole thing too. But
Unfortunately, most people
I
don't
am
want to face
glad
it.
I am glad that they're putting, they're saying, here's at your disposal because everyone's like, he hates the media and he
This
hates
isn't
all of them.
politics. Like,
And
this is
he's like,
beyond
this
politics.
is people. This is people. So, but yes, I would agree that Elijah wasn't always conservative or whatever, but he did fall on the right wing side as far
Yeah.
as content goes. And so, I mean, I'm disappointed. Again, I'm not surprised on the Elijah part. I don't know if I'm surprised about I think I'm more disappointed than surprised about Sarah as well because she hasn't been
Yes.
on the scene super long.
Mhm.
If she had been around as long as like a Milo or an
She had a
Elijah,
great following, though, too. She was building a really good following.
well, Elijah was promoting her, right? Elijah was the one as her boss going out and saying to follow this person. And he was on, I think, Culture War with Tim, and he brought
Yep.
Sarah with him.
Yep.
And they did an episode of IRL together with at Tim's, So
Mhm.
I know that he's helped promote her quite a bit. And she's a young woman and on the right wing, and
And
you get
she's easy on
followers.
the eyes. It doesn't hurt when you're easy on the eyes and things like that.
Sure.
The simps will follow, okay?
Sure.
It is 100% a thing, and that is always a part of it. Uh,
Correct.
Adam saying, disaffected liberals like Tim. Tim is the only one I like, even though he panics about Trump sometimes. And the thing is, it's like, I have been a conservative my whole life, and I've been on the right. I'm a Rush baby. I make no bones about that. And it's something like I am willing to accept disaffected liberals like Tim and people like that, knowing that if we ever go back to normal, Tim's not going to be on my side. Right? Like if we ever
Right.
truly go back to normal, Tim is going to be someone I'm debating because Tim is still on the left on a lot of things. He's come over to the
Correct.
right on some, but like he has a lot of still left stances. There's people like you can just Peterson. I'm Jordan Peterson.
Jordan
Jordan
Peterson, yeah.
Peterson's not on the right. Jordan Peterson just stood up against craziness. Like
Right.
it's there's so many people that have come over to the tent. I've expected this tent to fall apart anyway because it's
Yeah.
going to splinter. That's normal, and we're starting to see it happening.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm fine with Tim. I like the guest he brings on more. I like Tim,
Yeah.
but Tim brings on everyone and anyone, and that's an interesting part of it
I
more
love
than anything.
and he's always trying to, and he'll talk about it behind the scenes, trying to
Yeah,
bring on people that they'll say no, but he'll try.
yeah.
And I know he tries. I know the booker. I know most of the company, and so I can tell you that he does genuinely try. People are always like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "He does. I can promise you, he does try." Because not to argue, but he just wants to hear them out a lot of times. And
No, Tim loves to argue. Get the hell out of here. He'll bring them on and then he fights with
yes,
them for
he
two and a
does.
half hours. Okay.
But his intention is to bring them on
Yes,
to just
yes.
show the other side. But I think also part of those arguments is showing the other side, right? So it is
Yeah.
showing that people have different opinions than you. And a lot of people that don't have opinions, you can still find something there that's,
Yes.
kind of a middle ground, a common ground there. But Tim, his intentions are to not do that, though I know what happens every time, but he intends to just bring them on for a regular episode.
But I think he still, and tries to end it off on a positive note of thanks for the debate. This was good. And imagine he's still like, it always seemed like he still tries to like hang out a little after that, right? Like not just like have a cool down period unless they really have to go. Um,
Yeah, he
so
does.
it's pretty normal unless it was, Milo, Nick Fuentes, and Kanye who just left.
That was a crazy. Also, yes, Chris, Quiet Part Pod. He has been 'cause he came from the Discord originally. He's been on Timcast IRL as well.
Oh,
Sorry, I
nice.
forgot that, my guy. You've
That's
been on
awesome.
twice, and I somehow forgot about that. But yes, you've been on. So he's also been on Timcast, so he also knows that process. I mean, yeah, Tim's just a dude. Like the dude you see is the dude you get with Tim.
Yeah.
He's just a dude. Like people will be like, "Oh, Tim is." I'm like, "It's just Tim." Like I don't know. He's just our friend Tim. I don't think about him as like the Tim Pool. I just think about him as like I have a close friend, not Tim Pool, but that's named Tim. So we always have to say like Brett's Tim or my Tim. It's always like one of the two. But he's just a normal dude, right? He's just a guy, and I think that's kind of how he's a bit different. He doesn't put out this persona that's something that he's not, or performing in a way that he's not. Tim's just Tim. What you see is what you get. That's it.
I can imagine working for him is okay, but also I could see him being an amazing micromanager. He
Depends.
just
I'm
seems like
I'm
someone who
assuming it
is
depends
so.
where. Hey, Brett's this guy. I've never heard of him. Brett
Oh
Dav.
man, he has a cool last name, but I don't know if I've
His
heard of
wife's
that.
pretty
Man.
cool though. I've
I mean, I
heard.
like his wife. I met her
His wife's
once.
cool.
She
Yeah,
seems pretty
she's
cool.
cool.
Brett, thank you for popping in. We appreciate it. So I want to jump in. We'll get away from all that stuff. Oh, last question I have. Does any of this matter? Outside of maybe the Christian
No.
implications that might have it, but me and you, we like this stuff. We like the drama. Some of the people. I live for some of this stuff, but does this matter at all to the real world?
I mean, I guess yes and no. It depends on if you are in the media, like watch media, because they're going to use it to smear the right and to smear she's right, and to smear, conservatives or Christians. But there's so much going on right now that I think it's going to get swept under the rug. So I don't think it matters at the end of the day to the real world, but to our world, the one that we live in, of course, it's important because who you give your time, money, and energy
Yes.
to in this space is extremely important. And that's why when people come in that I see where it's like the Quiet Part Pod or I see this Brett Dasovic guy, I'm like,
Ooh,
those
sketchy.
are good, good people to follow that you can
Yes,
invest your time in. And I'm not biased when it comes to this Brett Dasovic guy. Okay. I have no real opinion. I'm just giving you the truth, you guys.
disavow. But but no, again, if you haven't subscribed already to PCC, you absolutely should get them to 400K.
So
And if not, then I disavow you from here.
yeah,
But
disavow, you're lame. Go subscribe
yes,
to Pop Culture Crisis because they're on the road to 400,000 subscribers
that's so
and
dope.
could coincide with the 1,000th episode. And so that's why I keep pushing it because I'm like, okay, yes, we are about to talk about
Can we
politics.
talk
I
about
got you.
politics and stop? It's interesting, but it's agreed.
Right now.
Well, I think so. Adam, I will give this though. While it may not help in the overall grand scheme, the hierarchy of the right does need to get sorted out again. Because
Yes.
again, Trump's going to go in a few short years. And whether it's Vance that takes over the mantle or Rubio or DeSantis or whoever ends up rising and taking over that mantle, there will be a shuffling again. So it's kind of
Yeah, that's fair.
in between us, the influencer space, the podcasting, the things like that. We do need to sort ourselves out
No,
because
we know, Adam. It's
no,
important.
I get
This is
that.
why it's
Yeah.
important and matters
Yeah.
to us.
We need to sort this out because it's like, okay, who are we now going to follow? Right? Like I like to listen. Like obviously, I check in at PCC. I listen to Tim. I like Glenn Beck. I think Glenn Beck's a good leader. Most of the Wire guys I like. Like those are kind of them. But then there's the trickle down of who's next, right? Who's still influencing that space? And I really think that We need
Stop it,
to
though.
figure it out. Hey, listen, if Fetterman's brain continues to heal the way it is, I
Honestly.
might be in on that. Okay. We just have to have him have a translator for the debates because he's still a little slow there. Um,
Yeah,
Adam, when is Lily Phillips
agree.
going on PCC?
Never.
Can we
Disavow.
guarantee that she's not going to drop an N bomb and just like nuke the channel? But also, Lily, I don't want to know about Lily. Be quite honest, I don't want to know
We
what
know too
Milo
much.
doesn't need to know about her. I mean, listen, again, I'll have Lily Phillips on the show. I don't give a shit. I'll have anybody on the show. Like, that doesn't bother me, but it's like Lily Phillips got famous because she's just a straight up racist. Like, that I don't like, eh. Alex
Yeah.
West is our leader. Rollin, you're fucked if I'm your leader, man. You are done. If I'm your leader, then we're in trouble. But all right, so I want to go on to something that is I think important to the overall everything going on. Trans ideology. Let's jump into this. Let's get canceled. All right, Olivia. So we've had a few news stories. A UK transitioner got 2 million in a settlement. David found an article yesterday that like the Board of Plastic Surgeons recommended against transitions. And then today I came across an article from The Independent saying that a comprehensive study says that there is no advantage for trans women over regular women. And their comprehensive study seems really vast. They had like 6,400 something people. It was a like conglomerate that they cherry picked a whole bunch of studies. So they said they picked a whole bunch. That means they cherry picked everybody.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it comes to find out it was a bunch of students that did this study, and they're plastering this up as a big deal. So, what is your opinion on trans people, and why are you a bigot?
Fair question, both of them. Look, I care about the
Oh,
truth.
Lily get it. Yeah, Lily Gaddis.
Lily Gladys
Okay.
they
Yeah,
both
I don't know
Lilies.
who Lily Phillips is.
I was gonna say in the chat here, the only Lily that's good is my grandma's cat. I disavow the others for now.
I don't know any other Lily.
It's only good Lily is the cat. But I will say that I am someone that cares about the truth. And when we talk about the truth, it's exactly what Quiet Part's saying here. Boys can't be girls and
Yep.
girls can't be boys. Exactly that. And I think to cherry pick a study that's very common in scientific studies, unfortunately, any study, you can find a study that tells you anything you want it to as long as you find the right interpretation of the data. So remember that. But also remember that, like, I think about all the women, of course, women's sports is always the big topic that comes up.
Yeah.
But I also think about all the poor, little girls who go into the bathroom and they're confused because there's a man in the bathroom and they're scared.
Mhm.
And then, I can pull the most egregious example is another Lily Tino. I can't remember the actual name of this person. And I know this has been a topic for a lot of people. Lily Tino, if you don't know who that is, this is the woman, okay, man, obviously, that still looks like a man despite the face surgery or whatever, that goes to restaurants, purposely tries to like get quote unquote misgendered, and then asks for the manager, we'll leave the restaurant, we'll put them on blast. I mean, we'll like not tip people because of it. I mean, just absolutely horrific behavior. And I've worked in service before. Anyone that's worked in the service industry
so
can
have
tell
I.
you that is, yeah, like retailer service, you can just like, I was a waitress for about a year and a half after moving here. And
Mhm.
I've been a waitress before. I really like the job, but there are people who will try to get you to do something wrong so they don't have to leave you a tip because they are cheap. The food's cold. And I'm like, well, guess what? I was the one that just
Yeah,
cooked your
Lily
food.
Pons. I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a cook too at that same restaurant for quite some time. So people would be like, my burger's cold. And I'm like, I just pulled that thing
Mhm.
off of this extremely hot flat top.
Yep.
It's not cold. Do you see any red in there? No, it's not cold. So you know what I mean? Like, it's clearly not cold. And stuff like that, where I was just like, your fries, literally, I put them from the fryer into the basket. Like, is it really misgendering to call a man a man? It's not, but that's what
No,
they're
it
gonna tell
isn't.
you. It's the linguistics, right? That's what they do.
Yes.
They wanna change language so that the truth changes with the language,
It's the
because what we say
postmodern theory.
matters. Yeah, what we say matters, the truth matters, and the truth is, biologically, men are men, women are women. Females are females, males are males. There is no mixing of the two, or any mixing of the two that in 500 years when they bury up someone's bones doesn't tell us what they were.
Exactly.
And I don't care how much plastic you put on your face. I don't care how much plastic you put on your body. I don't care how much slimmer you make your face or whatever you do to your body, whatever. I don't want to get into the other stuff, but whatever you do to your body to make yourself appear a certain way. I didn't overcook the bacon. Okay. I could tell that story. It's just my flat top was on the fritz that day. He was in town, came in and got some food with a friend, and I swear I could have put that bacon on for 3 seconds and it would have been burnt. I could not get that thing to cook correctly, and that thing broke all the time. That was another problem. But, again, I think there's just, there's so many beautiful inherent differences between men and women that people
Yes.
don't that I think, I think it's so cool that I could, of course, with the help of my husband, but I could, build a life. Like, there's
God
a
created
whole
us to complement.
right, like, there's, one day when we decide to start a family, I'm gonna be creating a whole for 9 months, helping create this whole human in my body,
It's
and that's
crazy.
something that my husband can't do, my father
Nope.
can't do, my
Nope.
brother can't do. I can do those things, and it is so insanely just I mean, it's almost, kinda trippy, when you think about it, deeply. It's like, "Whoa," my body first of all, I was created, obviously, from a
Mhm.
woman's body. There are so you still tipped me. Yes, I'm sorry, Chris, you tipped well, you're a great tipper, okay? But, it's just
Wow, look at begging for compliments here. Like, is that what we're gonna get
Christopher.
on the quiet part pot? No, I'm kidding. Everyone go subscribe.
Yes, he is great, he's good people. Yes, he did tip me very well too. He tips well at restaurants, make sure that's a sign of a good person, you tip well at a restaurant. But,
Yep.
I do think that there's all these inherent differences. If someone broke into our house, I wouldn't wanna be the one to try to fight them off. I'd want that to be my husband. Or if I'm scared, I don't, I mean, of course, there's always the, "I want my mom," or "I want my parents," or whatever, but now it's, "I want my husband." If I'm
Yeah.
scared, I want my husband. And as a woman, I love that I can respect the beauty of women, but I also just can respect the differences between men and women and think to myself there yes, I can create this life, but there are so many things that my husband's capable of that I could just never do. Like, for example, I'm not the most active, I could definitely be more fit, but the gym memberships here are astronomical. I mean, insane. That's a whole nother
Are
problem,
they that
but
expensive? That's wild.
it's like $50 a month for one person.
Yeesh.
Yeah, that's insane.
Wow.
It's 5 minutes away and the other one's 25 minutes away. So, obviously, by the time I, get to the gym, I'm not gonna wanna be at the gym anymore. So, but if I go to the $50 one, I'd still be in the mood to go to the gym. So, but I try to take care of myself, and I'm not the
Yeah.
most physically thank you, Chris. I'm not the most physically fit person. I'm very short, so I saying that. So we shoveled, right? We got this big snowstorm, and so
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
out of town, for a family obligation. We got back, we got stuck for an extra day. We get back, there's a foot of snow, right? Like, oh my god, so we have to bury out spaces to park cars because we
Yeah.
have street parking here. And when I tell you I was so sore, and Brett was like, "How are you sore?" We were there for the same amount of time, and I was like, I'm a woman. I am not as
But we
muscular and
also know Brett is also very still physically active with the
true.
rollerblading and stuff like that. So he's very much Adam. And I tipped her. She never pointed out that I tipped her, but no one tips like I do. The radical Democrats say I don't tip, but no one is as generous when tipping as I am.
So, it's yes, I again, and I'm also, a smaller woman, and so for me, that labor is gonna be a little bit more difficult
Mhm.
because, I can't carry as much. I'm 5 feet tall for context,
Oh, listen,
5
my
feet,
I grew
nothing.
up with a family of short women. My mom
No,
is
yeah.
4'11" on a good day, a tiny little Italian thing. So
Yeah, my stepmom is, up to probably here on me, and my nonna was up to here on me, so I
yeah, yeah.
understand short people. My mother was probably about my height, maybe a little bit taller. My brother got all the height, he's 6 feet tall, so I don't know how that happened, but, It's but it's one of those things where I can appreciate that there are things about me that are inherently feminine
Yeah.
that I can never change, right? And I don't
Well,
want
that
them to change because I like being a woman, God forbid and you can't say that now. You can't say be like,
of
"I
course
love
you can.
being a real woman," and people are
Hey,
like,
listen, that's why
"Whoa."
we had Jennifer Say on the show, who was the founder of XXXY, and, I mean, she we love what she stood for, and that she's fighting for women to continue to have women's spaces and fighting for Title IX to be upheld, and, there's something, again, beautiful about women in general, and
Mhm.
I've said it before here, but there's a reason why men are the ones that typically historically have went to war and why women have
Correct.
been the ones that want to be protected. It's not necessarily because you're weaker. It's because you guys are the closest thing to God on mortal flesh. You can bring life. We can't do that. We can help. but we can't actually do it. You are the life bringers. So
Right.
you guys need to be protected at all costs, because without you, obviously we need both to tango, right?
Yes.
But you guys are the ones that actually do it. The baby comes from you guys. So
Correct.
it's something that wanting the whole entire feminist movement of wanting women to be men is just gone
So dumb.
so wrong. And obviously taking advantage of the Second World War, where women were working, and then a lot of rich people are like, hey, let's keep them working because it
Yeah.
doubles our profits, and that didn't help. So there's just so much. And the biggest the biggest thing about the trans movement that always is the most bothersome, but the thing that they lose on the most is, well, I'm a woman because I feel like I am. No,
Yeah.
there's obviously a binary there. You don't know the difference between feminine or masculine unless they exist, unless one needs to be
Correct.
compared to the other in order to know what one or other is. And
Right.
that's just the biggest, because I feel like, okay, well, how do you know what
Right.
it's supposed to feel like? And
You
oftentimes
can't know unless you are, and
they
that's the thing.
caricature it. That's the
I'll
thing. It's a
never
caricature.
Yes. Oh, Dylan Mulvaney, I had such a huge problem with
He's
Dylan
fake.
Mulvaney.
He's not
He's
actually trans. He's an
it's
actor.
a grift, right? It has to
He's
be
an
like
actor.
acting in a grift, and it's
Well, you
what
saw the
he's
video of
and
him
it
on The Price
worked.
is Right, right? Did you ever see
Yes,
that
I
video?
saw that. Oh,
It's all an act. It's a
like,
grift.
etched in my brain, yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's horrible. It's like burned. Yeah,
Ah,
it is an act, and he's an actor, right? He's always
yes.
been an actor, and he's very flamboyant, and
Mhm.
I've no doubt about it that he's like a gay man. That no
100%.
doubt there. You know what I mean? But for me, it's just been so
Yeah, Simone de Beauvoir has
insulting.
been awful for
Yes,
American society.
yes.
Yes.
It's insulting as a woman to watch somebody. I had such a huge problem with the whole Days of Womanhood series because that is so offensive to me because you're skipping the parts of becoming a woman that are so ingrained in being growing up as a girl and becoming a woman. They are so ingrained in you, right? So for me, like hate to be a bit, graphic here, but getting a period, right?
I have 2
Dylan never
daughters
had
and a
to.
wife. So
There you go,
my
yeah.
daughters are young, but I
Well,
do have a wife, and I have a
yes.
sister, a mother. I get it.
And but the thing is when Dylan Mulvaney says Days of Womanhood, that's one of the most pivotal moments in a
Yeah.
girl's life, right? Young women, that is something any girl you know, any woman you know, you can ask her what happened first time she got it, she knows. She will know and she can tell you that story because it's that pivotal. And it's part of the biology of being a
Yep.
woman. And so, but that means that you can create life. And so to
Mhm.
pick and choose the parts of womanhood that you want to portray and be a caricature of, saying, oh, look, I'm having a little slumber party. Okay, well, why don't you talk about the fights and the people talking in the corner that don't like everybody else? Why don't you talk about all the gossip? And why don't you talk about the one girl who is, her boyfriend broke up with her and now she's sobbing and now you're, I know, I hate to be graphic, but it's like the most, it is the best example
Hey,
of
Mr.
something that to
Garrison
me.
said it the perfect way. I can't trust anything that bleeds for more than 3 days and doesn't die.
Yep,
That's why
there
I
you
can
go,
never
there
trust
you
a
go,
woman.
there you go. Yeah, no, it's literally it's literally just the biggest example I remember being really annoyed by because I was like, "You're picking and choosing womanhood, and part of womanhood and becoming a woman is that specifically, right?" And
Yeah.
so you don't understand. And then these people, oh, these videos of these quote unquote trans people saying, like, got my first cramps today. And
Oh.
it's like clearly not that. And you're like, don't, first of all, don't appropriate my culture. Second of all, it is like it's something every girl goes through, and it's something that we can have like camaraderie with each other in.
But it's something you guys
Um,
hate. No one's fucking celebrating
no,
that. I've never met a
we
girl that
hate.
celebrates their cramps,
No, we're not
ever.
like yes, no. It's the worst part, honestly. Despite
Ugh.
everything else that happens at that time, that's probably the worst part because you learn to live with it. But the cramps can be just terrible, and every woman's different. Some have bad, some don't really get them, and I think it's so. And the point of what
It's
happens
demeaning in the
is
end.
demeaning, and it's like, for me to think about, like, if I could just order a pizza and, like, never get a period again, like, okay, yeah, I would have done that too, Dylan, thank you very much for freaking, like, idea there. It's just so insulting, and to think it means wearing frilly dresses. Right now, I'm in this little flannel thing and leggings, and I love to dress up. I am a very girly girl. In the summer, I wear sundresses every single day, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that like, I like to embrace that part of me,
Yeah.
but I also, my husband seen me in sweats and my hair up
But
and
you're in the
full
comfort of
makeup
your own home, coming to do a small
right.
podcast, whatever, hanging out, letting your hair down,
Yeah,
you could be
but it's like
yourself
there's
at some point.
things about womanhood that I just that you can't just fake or make a caricature of. And I hope when we have kids one day, and I hope for your daughters, they never have to be exposed to the idea that what they are inherently is somehow something that can be mocked, because it's mocking us at regardless if it's the intention. It's mocking women, saying, oh, I'm gonna learn to to learn to I don't know, whatever you want to say. I'm gonna learn to cook
I'm
and
gonna learn
bake
to
and
knit. I'm gonna vacuum my house, like clean, like
right. It's funny,
it's
I
like all
crochet, and that's
yeah.
it's a grandma hobby, right? But I crochet, I sew, I
I
do all
find that
sorts of, like, really
middle-aged women are
crafty
taking that
things.
on more and more lately.
Yeah, I've been doing, I sew, I make hair bows for girls and women,
So
and
I
I
have a
make
quick theory about why so many more women are crocheting and like doing that type of stuff is because our generation was the one that, and I think you and Brett are similar in age to me. I'm 37. I think you guys are
I'm
close.
I we actually have kind of an age gap. He's closer than I am. I'm 27.
Okay,
So
so this so
he's
10 years is
39. We got
major.
that age gap, but I grew up with a brother a few years older, so I grew up with a lot more, like,
Yeah.
millennial tendencies.
So my theory is because we're the generation that like got addicted to this thing,
Yeah.
that the women are trying to figure out something to focus on. And that is the one thing that you guys, no phone, focus. And it's more than 30 seconds. You have to
Yep.
sit there and crochet. And are you one of the ones that does it and then you'll do a big one and then if you find one thing wrong back here, you take it all apart?
Sometimes. I try to catch it as I'm going, but I also
If
make
I had a friend,
mostly
she always took everything apart because she found
see,
one thing wrong. It's like, well, you're
if
out of your
I was
mind.
done no, if I was done, I would go in and find a way to fix it without having to take it all apart. A lot of guys crochet too.
Yeah,
I think
they do.
also
They
it's
do.
something to do with your hands, right? It's
Yes,
something you
yes.
can do while watching TV or whatever. My biggest gripe with movie theaters is that I can't go and, like, crochet for 2 hours. I make plushes.
You're
I
not gonna
sell them.
watch.
Well, I listen, I can look, I do it all the time when Brett's
Are
watching
you gonna have, like, a little
something.
headlamp so you could see what's going on and just
Well,
disturb
I should
everybody?
get one. No, but when you've done it long enough, I've done it for a few years now, you kinda just know what you're doing, and
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's and I've my business-minded part is, like, I'm gonna monetize it, so I sell plushes.
That's awesome.
I sell, I was gonna start making coasters, but those, like, really pissed me off for some reason. I, like, couldn't it was, like, something with the colors, but, I once made this, like, Minnesota one that looked like Minnesota. It was really cool.
Are you gonna
Um
make the PCC logo plush and sell that?
You know what? So for people that know PCC lore, you'll understand what I'm saying when I say our cat Mocha is a star and also a villain on PCC. If you know, you know. We love Mocha. She's our super derpy cat, and after one guest went a little too far, she was banned from the cute of the day segment. But I have started to make mini Mocha plushes, little, like, they look like little, just big
Hey,
balls, but
beware,
they're like
Rule 34
cats.
will happen when you have a degenerate group of people that follow.
Yep, yep. So I do these, like, plush things, they're little cats, and I put little tongues on them to add the little derpy tongue, and I sell them as little
Oh,
mocha
that's
plushes.
awesome.
Or if I go to markets, we have 3 cats. We have,
Yeah.
a white cat, a cat that's, like, gray and tan, and we have Mocha, who's a black cat. And I make with those color yarns, and I print out their pictures, and I say it's their, like, kittens up for adoption, right? People eat that up, they love that, and so I market it very well. I think that's something that a lot of women would probably benefit from, is kind of learning that as well, but
Yeah.
I digress. I We
The
do love the
derp.
derp. She's the best. We love her. She's my elderly derpy cat, and she was banned. It was an inside joke with Brett and I before people even knew we were, like, dating or a thing, where she was not allowed on Cute of the Day, and people would try to sneak her in and, like, pictures and videos and stuff.
That's
And
awesome.
it's still ongoing. Justice for Mocha is still ongoing, and
That's
we always
fantastic.
joke that, like, Casperoo needs to, yes, and Free the Gongo, thank you, but we need to make sure that we get a Casperoo that's a mocha blend because her name lends it to the coffee, so we can
That'd
get
be
that.
great.
It could be like Brett's coffee blend. That's hopefully gonna happen at some point.
Dasovic Mocha's, delight.
Yeah, yeah, and
Interesting.
she's such a silly cat. She really is stupid. I hate to say that, but she's really
We all have our listen, I have my dog Oreo, he's a moron. I love him, but, like, you could just see, like, there are times where he's looking, it's like there's not a single synapse going on in that brain.
No, yeah, right, like, she'll sit like this and just look straight down, like, this far from the ground, and you're like, "Not a single thought." And she's so sweet, and I love her so much, but I'm always like, "She is as dumb as she looks," and I don't mean to be rude, but she is, and,
It's okay.
but we love her. We love her so much. Thought Mocha ruled the Gongo? No, but Mocha is, a part of helping Gongo is another one, helping fundraise for the Mocha's Dasovic
Mocha's
Delight. That's a
Dasovic
good one.
delight, that
We've
is a
also
good one.
thought of, like, Mornings with Mocha might be a good one because we can just plaster her face onto the bag. And now that we're
I don't know
married,
if
the
they're ready to
legality
do
comes
another
bad.
Cat Casper, though. because they
Yeah,
did
after
have
Bucko. Oh, I met
yeah,
Bucko a couple times. He was the best. I
yeah,
think they're willing to if it's not like Tim's, it's like Brett's thing because it's
yeah.
he knows like Tim knows who Mocha is. That's how this cat how deep into Tim Guess's cat and the lore has gotten. She's so funny. She's the best.
Has
And
Tim
I
given
have
you any chickens yet? Is he pushing the chickens onto you
no,
guys?
but we've gotten a ton of eggs. We haven't bought eggs in a very long time, which is
I
very
mean,
nice.
that is a benefit to having,
So
you
huge,
know,
especially
Chicken
because 'cause they're in
City over
Florida, but
there.
the chickens are still here, so
Yeah,
we can
Chicken
still get
City's
our
still
eggs.
there, baby.
So I go to Chicken City whenever I'm on the property. I go say hi to the chickens, and he has another cat that's like an indoor outdoor, and I say hi to the cat.
That's
And
awesome.
then I keep looking down because I do have one of my cats hanging out over here, Toast. She's around here somewhere. She's obsessed with me, so anywhere I am, she's like, "I'm here to disrupt you." Very sweet. She's only
Y
2, so it's very sweet,
Welcome
but
to your future of having a child.
yeah, I know. I'm like, "You're
Because
trading
here's
me.
the thing,
It's
you'll
okay."
find out the guy, like, we could be right there, and the child will walk around us to
Like,
go
"Mom."
find
Yeah,
mom, who is doing something very important and is very involved, but
sure.
hey, Quiet Part Pod, thank you so much for dropping in, I appreciate it. I'm gonna go
Thanks,
give you a
Chris.
sub after the show. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris. I'll see
Yeah,
you probably tomorrow somewhere in the Discord. But yes, so yes, like, comment,
like,
subscribe.
comment, and
Thank you,
subscribe.
Chris.
Thank
See,
you
look
so
at you.
much.
You a
Appreciate
real
you.
one. A
Appreciate
real
it. We
one.
gotta do a collab at some point, Quiet Part. We gotta do
Yes,
something. We gotta have you on.
I can send you his X handle and you guys can get in touch because he's good
Awesome.
people.
100%.
Yeah, he's
But
good people. So
yeah, no, you're gonna experience that in motherhood. I do it all the time.
I'm
Like
sure.
my daughters, like, dude, listen, they love me, they give me big hugs. It's daddy. But there are
Yeah,
so many
right.
times where my wife is doing something, she's involved in something, and I'm just kind of hanging out, and they'll look at me and acknowledge my existence, but then go find mom, who is they
Well, and that's
know is doing something. And my mom's like, Daddy's right there. They're like, yeah, cool, mom. Like,
cool, cool, okay. And I think that ties back to this conversation about transgenderism. I think that being having 2 girls if you had a boy, I'm willing to bet he'd be all over you. Like, it'd
yeah,
be the same thing, but in reverse, right? And there's that inherent tie to the biological parent, right? And so you're gonna yearn for a mother or father, and both parents are important. I'm gonna put that out there right now. A 2-parent household is the best parent
yeah,
household.
you need that.
I have a lot
You
of
need the
respect
feminine and the
for
masculine on both
yes.
to sit there and and impart that on your kids. It's important.
Right, and there's examples of good single parents and
Of
bad single
course.
parents. People are
There's
always very
examples of good male and female parents and bad male and
correct.
female parents. Like,
Right,
there's
exactly.
every types.
Right, and people are always shocked to know that my dad was the one who primarily raised my brother and I. And I always say, as I love mothers, women are amazing, okay, and I loved my mother more than anything. She was a doll, but she had her own stuff going on for a few years there, and so my
Life
dad
happens.
primarily raised us.
Yeah.
And but it's important. But I have a stepmom who he met when I was 8 maybe,
Mhm.
and she's been in my life ever since. Almost 20 years now she's been in our lives, and she is a godsend. I love her so much. She is so wonderful, and she's been in our lives too, so even when my mom wasn't always there, I had that female influence, and my dad would made sure we had either someone at the church or whatever if I needed a woman to talk to, I always had
Yeah.
one.
That's great.
He was always very I mean, my dad, like, I could just if I wanted to, I could just, like, talk about my dad. Like, I love my dad so much. He is the best. Maybe that's
That's
one of my
awesome to
biggest
hear.
it's probably my best green flag, and when people always ask me for advice, like,
Oh, if you have
"What should I
daddy
look
issues
for?"
or not?
Yeah, if people look, they'll be like, "Well, what should I look for in a woman?" I'm like, "Talk about her relationship with her dad and if she
Yep.
respects her dad and loves her
Mhm.
dad." And my dad will probably end up watching this at some point too. Hi,
Hey,
dad.
dad.
Hi, dad. I'm sure he'll watch it at some point. He likes to watch the stuff I'm on. He doesn't understand social media, but he will watch things I'm on.
That's
And
awesome. My dad listens and watches to all these
yeah,
too, and he'll say, he'll like, my dad is, inept at texting, so he'll like just call or he'll fat finger a text. But I know
yeah,
he
he's
watches
there.
and tries to listen
Listening.
for everything. Yeah, he supports my mom like that,
Mhm.
and there's something to be said about that, right? And I tell people all the time, and I'll give you the advice of being a little bit older than you. Everyone is always so nervous about parenting before you have it, right? Before you have the
Right.
kid, and am I going to be a good parent? And my best advice, and I think Rollin, you have kids, you'll say this, anyone with kids, just try, right? Because I think
Mhm.
that's one of the biggest things that you probably remembered about your dad is he always gave
Yeah.
an effort. He was always there. He's always tried. And I
I mean,
think
yeah,
that's the thing that
that's
you need to
it's
do. Just try.
huge. Right, and for all of my mom's shortcomings in her life, she tried. I
And that,
think she genuinely,
yeah,
when she
yeah,
was motivated the right way, tried. And so whenever I tell people about my mom and the story about my mom, which I'm very open about, people will be like, "So, but like, I thought you loved your mom. I'm like, I do. This has nothing to do with me not loving my mother. And my mother and I, she was sick before she passed. And for the last
Sorry to
year
hear
and a
that.
half, thank you. Yeah, for the last, it's been, oh, wow, 10 years now. But that last year and a half after her stroke, I remember being so close with her. And I had my own reasons for not being close with her beforehand, but I'm always like, you don't understand. It's complicated, right? But she tried with me and she never stopped trying even when I created distance as a teenager. She
Mhm.
didn't stop trying. She was like she'd send me cards in the mail when I wouldn't answer her phone calls, stuff like that. She always tried. For all of her faults, she tried. And I just never used a computer. But yes, I mean, yes, the love that you guys have is important, Adam, of course. But I do think that when you're just starting to date a woman, and you're like, what can I look for? People ask me that all the time. People like, and I'm not trying to like brag on myself, but people will say that people with that relationship or that attitude, or women on the right, it's hard to find that sometimes. I'm like, ask
Yeah.
her about her relationship with her family. Her father specifically is important. How she talks about him is very important. I'm not talking about if he was a deadbeat. I'm talking about if he was trying to be involved and she was saying no. It's very important. Does she respect her father?
Mhm.
And it's always, oh, what if he this? No, obviously, if he's like a
And the thing
deadbeat,
is
piece of
too,
crap, no, but
as a
you know,
guy, the main thing I was looking for in my wife too, like outside of that, like I saw her relationship with her father, with her brother, very close
yep,
with both. And
I
her
am, yeah,
brothers, me and her brother, he's about a year older than me. We were really good friends. Like we became best
yeah,
friends. And me and her dad are very close. Like, we go
yep.
golfing and things like that. And
Yeah, you should be close with your
yeah.
spouse's parents, and that's what you should look for is that dynamic that they create. Are they welcoming? And so when I first met Brett's
Mhm.
dad, I remember they were just so welcoming to me immediately,
Yeah.
and they were, and my parents were, and the third or fourth time Brett met my dad because we live far away, he asked him to marry me, and that was the other thing I said was very important. I was like, if you don't ask my dad, I'm saying no,
Oh,
and I
I
will know
asked
if you
both
did
the
or
mom
not.
and the dad. Yep.
Yeah, well, yeah, and again, like, he asked my dad knowing how important that was to me, but I told him, I said, "You don't ask my dad, I will somehow know, and I will say no."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he knew that, and he
It's
did,
the
right?
right
He
thing to do.
did. Looking at cars in the garage is so funny. I'm like, "It's the most man story I've ever heard in my life," like, the most man way to ask, but I think a big problem with kids that grow up and become transgender or trying to trans kid, I mean, that's another problem, right? That's horrible parenting, but
Yeah.
if we just stay on the topic of people trying to become I don't even think you could become trans, but for, the sake of the ease of the conversation to say you
Gender
wanna
you're
become
gender
trans, right?
dysphoric to the point where you are
Right, where
trying
you
to
think that
be
you need
trans.
to be
Yes.
trans,
You're
right?
yes, yes.
I think it's selfish. I think that's the biggest thing when people ask me about it. It's selfish because your parents are losing their child. Your parents are and your
Yeah,
family
yeah.
and your friends are all losing this person and to expect them to just immediately switch up and there's people in the space. Blair White's a great example of somebody I respect enough to says it like it is that I would at least use whatever pronoun,
Yep.
you know.
Here's
But
the quick thing that I'll say about that, Olivia, because I grew up my mom was a hairdresser. So I grew
mhm,
up around the gay community and things like that,
sure.
and knew a lot of gay people, trans people and stuff.
Sure.
A real trans person, not these performative people you're seeing out there,
Right.
just wanna
Yes.
be left alone. They don't
Yes.
and
So
they're not gonna
yeah.
force anything on you. They understand that they do look different. They
And
get
that's
it. They're
yes,
not the ones that are gonna sit there
1,000%.
and correct you. They're not
Right.
they'll acknowledge and be like, "Oh, no, honey, I've transitioned." Like, they won't like sit
Right.
there and be like, "It's ma'am." Like, they're not that's not them. They
And
just
that's
wanna
what I
be
mean
left
by Blair,
alone.
right? Like, that's why,
Yeah.
because Blair says it like it is, and Blair, for other than being a content creator, really doesn't give a shit what people think, right? And I
No.
love that about Blair. And I've known people in my own life, and again, I'm not talking to the people who, like Blair, have gone through gender dysphoria legitimately to that point. Because to me, I might not agree with the way they're living their lives, but I pray for them and I love them because that's what you
Yes.
do when you're a Christian, right? And
Mhm.
um, I would never, you know, not love them because that's as a Christian, you're taught to love even despite those things. It's and so when I talk about saying like it's selfish and all that and your parents just get it's the performative ones I specifically
Yes.
am talking about because it's become a cultural phenomenon. It's become a part of society and now we're trying to cater to what would have been less than 1% of the public and is now increasingly becoming more because people see it as a trend, a fad.
Mhm.
And people are
100%.
Chloe Cole, right? Did damage to her own body and regrets
Yes.
it. And there's
Yes.
detransitioners like the case we were talking about with the
Well, you see
UK.
Jazz
And
Jennings getting abused on television shows, and, like,
I mean,
still,
yeah,
Ron DeSantis, what are you doing, man? Like, the biggest
brother.
knock on Ron DeSantis is that
Yes.
Jazz Jennings' parents and mother is not in handcuffs. Like,
Yes, and it's abhorrent. I think those are the kinds of parents when we talk about the good and bad parents, those are bad parents. Plenty
yes,
of parents that are
yes.
married still together, mother and father in the household, and they still suck because 'cause they're just not good people, right? And and I feel bad for Jennings. I mean, I feel bad for a lot of these kids. I don't know if you've seen that kid. I hate even like saying it, but the kid that's like a they tried to make him like a drag queen, it's Desmond, and they've
I
tried
think
to
I
like
saw
make him
something
this.
about that.
Yeah, I would not recommend looking it up unless you wanna
And
like
on
throw up
top of
because
that
it's
too,
so gross.
big
Like,
pet peeve of mine. Drag
yeah,
queens are not trans. Like, can we really get in like
yeah,
again, me going back to my background of being around the gay community, drag is a gay cross-dressing burlesque comedy show. That is
correct.
what drag is. It is the man is gay and they dress as a woman to do a burlesque comedy. And typically it can be very funny. And listen, I'll tell you, my dad, who is the one that he never forced me to be conservative, but he's the reason I listened to Rush Limbaugh growing up. Like would have him in the car and influence me. My mom, obviously hairdresser in that community, and my mom is also on the right. It's not like she's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, sure.
she would go to these things, and because I was her good friend, that he was Miss Gay New Jersey for years, and he was like one of the best drag performers in the state. My dad went, and he's like, I didn't agree with anything, but it was absolutely hilarious. It was a performance, and
Right, and
it
they've taken it and
disturbs me so much.
they've made it sexual, right? They haven't made it funny,
Yes.
they haven't made it, like and these things have existed, right? These types of shows have existed for quite some time, and they're not really the problem, it's the I guess appropriating of that type of thing that they've taken and done, and, his wife is crazy. Oh
Oh,
gosh, I
like,
was just talking about
John
this guy
Money.
the other day.
Are you talking about John Money?
No, there was no, the guy that his kid was, like, took his kids and forced to trans his kid to
Oh, because she went to
California.
California and stuff. I
Yeah,
forget
what's
his name,
I
and he
just
was like
talked about him yesterday.
there was
I know who you're
also
talking
the
about,
guy
but
in, Canada, I think that got arrested
there's a
for,
couple
like,
of them for sure.
there's also Billboard Chris. Billboard Chris,
Billboard
got
Chris is
famous
awesome.
because
Mhm.
so I'll say this, I thank Billboard Chris. He came on the show in its, like, infancy. Billboard
Yeah.
Chris had no business coming on this show. He came on the show in infancy. Chris is a fantastic guy. But,
Yeah.
Billboard Chris has been strong against this. We've had both, Moms for Liberty co-founders, Tiffany Justice, Tina Descovich on
Good
the
people
show,
too,
so
yes,
great
correct.
people, amazing. So I forget his name, but yeah, Hot Chick was really funny, but Rob is based. Yeah, but you can sit there and but here's the thing: it's different with Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider was an actor doing a part, right? That's different. You have people on stage that get cross dressed. Oh, Kitty, who do
Yes,
we have?
here's Toast, you guys who won't stop rubbing against me and it is distracting. Here's
Oh,
Toast.
cute cat. See, I
Just
do
gonna
have a theory though that all cats are evil because you don't train a
see,
cat. Cats
you
train you.
haven't met Toast. Toast is an
You
angel sent from heaven above. Chloe is a different story. I'll admit when my cats are rude. Chloe's a different story. But Toast is just the sweetest thing ever. She really is. I mean, she terrorizes her sisters, but she is a sweetheart. So,
cats
Jeff
will go out
Younger,
of their way.
thank you.
Jeff Younger,
Yeah,
yes,
didn't
that's the
he
name.
end up
Thank
being
you.
kind of like something came out that was like not so good about him? I can't remember now,
I
but
don't know, but there's always skeletons in people. Like everyone
right.
will have some skeleton at some point, right? Like nobody's perfect. Like there's probably any of us will think of things in the past that we have done that we
Yeah, we're
probably
like,
would sit there and be like, if
yeah,
that came out, I'm
yeah,
screwed type of thing. So it is what it is. But yeah, no, it's such a sad thing to see going on in
right.
society. But I think the one positive thing that we've seen is there is a decline amongst youth with it
Yes,
starting to happen.
yes.
And a lot and I'll say this, so I work with a lot of kids in my day profession. I teach people how to drive. And how many 16, 17-year-olds that aren't like conservatives in any stretch of the way, but they're just like, yeah, I don't care, but a chick's a chick and a dude is a dude. Like, I'm not going to sit there and make fun of the person that does it, but it's not right. And it's like people getting a little more brave about saying it, and they could probably thank Trump and the conservatives for being able to say it and not get canceled. But
Right.
there is a movement on the youth that is sitting there and starting to go, like, yeah, no, this is dumb.
Yeah, I've seen that. So I graduated college now quite a while ago, 6 years ago. But
Oh, don't talk about 6 years being quite a while ago. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I'll be like, can you not? Can you not do that?
It feels like it was yesterday. So when I say quite a while, I'm like, wow, it's actually been that long. But I was the president of the college Republicans for 2 years at my
Oh,
college.
nice.
And I mean, I loved that role, but there were definitely people who, like, they would come in and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm just here to, like, see what this is all about." Because we had a one kid who I can't, this is a nice guy, and we still are friends to this day. He's an Uber lib. He'd come in and talk to us almost every single week. Just not disrespectfully, he would just come in and be like, "Tell me what you got, like, why you guys think what you think." Not in a bad way. We'd come in, we would talk, and usually find a common ground. Really nice guy. Now he owns, like, a plant business, not that kind of plant, but like a normal plant business in Michigan
Hey, we
somewhere.
have them all in New York. Like it's
Yes,
legal over
Michigan's
here. They
bad
are
too. Yeah,
popping up
Michigan,
everywhere,
like,
man. Oh.
you're in Michigan if you miss the sign because all the billboards. But he's he runs like a I can't remember what it's called now, but I've been watching him do that, and it's great, and he's very respectful. But for the most part, I'd have kids come in that would, like, kind of almost like not pass me a note, but like the equivalent of passing a note, like, kind of say to me to the side after people left the meeting that night, be like, "You guys are doing good stuff. I just don't know if I can always come because my friends and whatever." And it's sad that they feel that way. And it reminds me of that video where the guy's doing street interviews. And he's like, "How many genders are there?" And the girl's like, "I feel like there's two."
Oh
And her friend's like,
yeah.
"Stop. No, don't say that. Don't say that." And it reminds me of that. And I do think in colleges, it's also harder to find people who are willing to speak out. I got my fair share of, I'll say, like, and I'm not someone that's like offended, but sexist comments from women about
Yeah.
me being a woman and
Yes.
being the president of this club. And I'm
Mhm.
not one to cry sexism or anything. I don't care. Say what you want. But they would say, like, "How can you do that as a woman?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I'm just
I'm fighting for women more than you are. Like,
exactly.
hey,
Like, and it
listen,
was
I
just
said feminazi in a class, so I was that type of conservative. My professor was like, "What?"
well, they would get, like, I mean, and there were some who would, like, then talk to me, and I was friends with someone, they were like, "Whoa, okay." Like, they had this idea of conservatives because of the media and because of all the things going on. And
Mhm.
I graduated high school in 2016, so we're looking at the first Trump term, right? And
Yep.
I remember meltdowns, people crying. My roommate at the time crying in bed because Trump won the election. So full on sobbing,
So
okay? Like,
corny. Like, they're performative and corny.
and, like,
And
even
because
in
the thing
private, they're
is
performative. It's crazy. It was just the 2 of us, and she was sitting there. Now, I put in my mail-in ballot. It's my first election.
Mhm.
I mailed in for Trump,
Yeah.
right? Because I was in college, I got a mail-in ballot, and I didn't tell her that because at that time, I wasn't more outspoken conservative until my
Yeah.
sophomore year of college. So freshman year, I was very nervous. I knew I was a conservative, but I was like, if anyone asks, I'm moderate, right? And maybe a little liberal, whatever. I didn't wanna ruffle any
You didn't
feathers
wanna
at that
deal with
point.
it. Yeah, you weren't as
Yeah.
when freshman year is a weird year, trying to figure out where your friend group is and if you're gonna stay in this
Yeah,
place,
and
like,
I
there's a
did
lot
not stay
going
in
on.
that friend group. For context, never stayed in that friend group, and I ended up finding out one of the other girls was a conservative, and we're still friends now.
Nice.
But I just remember, like, her sobbing in bed, and I remember, like, texting my stepmom and saying, "Roommate is sobbing in bed because Trump won," like, screaming, crying in bed, and I can hear other people in the halls, like, upset because Trump won. And I was like, I'm sitting in my bed pretending to sleep because I wanna laugh, but I don't wanna laugh in their faces, so I'm, like, in bed acting like I'm just like, maybe if I'm shaking, she'll just think I'm crying, but I, like, covered myself and, like, put a video on my phone so she knew I was listening to something, but, like, didn't know that I was actually trying not to, because it was just so insane
See,
even then to me.
I was the other guy in college because, like, in '08, again, this is how old I am. I was a sophomore in '08, and that's when Obama, for his
Yeah,
first term, and I voted for McCain. And
mhm.
I was openly like, oh, yeah, McCain was that time. Yeah. I openly was like, and I remember sitting there and like, it was, they were banging pots and pans in the courtyard like it was New Year because
Yeah,
Obama
like,
got
celebrating.
elected.
Yeah.
And I remember I quite literally, I'm like, you guys are all stupid. He's
You're
gonna
all
fuck this
dumb.
country up.
And
Like
he
you're all
did.
dumb. Oh,
We're
listen,
still paying for it.
he's the most racist, divisive president we have
Yes,
ever had in this
100%.
country's history. Like people want to point to when did the divide happen? It was Obama. Obama
It was
started the
Obama.
divide. And the thing that Trump did was Trump made the right brave enough to start saying, outside of the few of us that were like, yeah, Rush Limbaugh's right. You're all a bunch of assholes. Like there was
Yeah,
a few of us that were cool with that and open, but we got chastised and we were okay with it.
sure. And
Trump made it okay for people to be conservative.
yeah, like, it was so bad. Let me just give you an example of how bad it was in college for me,
You graduated
at least
'07.
my
I was
freshman year.
graduated high school '07, caveat.
I, so I'm a political science major. I have a master's now in political science, which How I got through that without becoming a liberal is a testament in and of itself there. But I that's crazy work,
Don't you
especially
know
in
it's all
poli
about the
sci.
globe and not about the United States?
Yeah, right. No, being in
International
poli
affairs
sci.
matter more than anything.
Yeah, being in poli sci was a hell of
I would never here. Oh, so real quick, my
Adam.
radical. So Adam, that's hilarious. Number one. So real quick, Olivia, my radical take is I don't believe in any of the history months.
No, I don't
I
either.
was I was a history major. So for
Okay,
me,
okay,
my issue with the
sweet.
history months is I don't. Number one, it's offensive that it's the shortest month of the year that they give for
It's
Black
kind of
History Month.
funny, but
That's
yes, it's
hilarious.
offensive.
But
Yeah.
number two, we would learn more about Black people if we just put them in their proper place in history and taught them in those times. And there are plenty of great influential Black people that don't get taught because we focus on like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass. Like that's it. They're the big four. Nobody gives a
Yeah.
shit. Like there's so many. There's a Booker T. Washington. There's
Yeah.
Malcolm X's twist into sanity at some point, which people don't talk about at all. There's so many other influential Black people, and same thing with Women's
So
History Month.
many.
We just learn
Yeah,
about a bunch
I
of terrorists. That's all we learn about with the suffragettes. A
right.
bunch of terrorists.
And I
Like
and I did history. I didn't do it as my minor. I was probably like 2 credits away to be honest, but I
what
did
happened?
love
Oh, I lost connection for a second.
oh,
Sorry about that.
no, you're good.
Why did it
Popping all
come?
over the
Why did
place.
this come up? What is
Guys,
going
follow
on?
me.
Yeah, it
Um,
switched my
go
screens. It made my
subscribe.
share screen my main
Go
screen.
subscribe.
Restream. What are you doing? Yeah, go follow. Well, that was supposed to be for the end of
But
the show, but hey, do it.
yeah, no, there you go. Yeah, but I just look like I have a lot of problems with history months because I think it's just again
Adam, which
performative and
George Floyd
stupid. I'm a
conservative?
George Floyd conservative this month. I'm so proud of you, Adam, finding your true self. Really proud of you, buddy. But I just like as somebody who studied both history and poli sci, and I studied, history was more like the Vietnam War. I took a class. I mean, I took a lot of history classes. I
Yeah,
I
I
love.
focused on Nazism. That was my focus. Was Nazism
Oh
and
my
the
gosh, World War II is my. I was just gonna say World War II and the Cold War are my favorite eras to learn about. So those
See,
are like
I also
things I
like
love.
Asian history. I like places that have thousands of years of history. Like I'm okay
Yeah,
with United States history, but it's like it's short, it's quick, you
yeah,
can learn about it fast. Like it's
yeah.
awesome. We do great things. But give me a few thousand years of history. I could sink my teeth into
Yeah,
that.
I love learning about history. So I think history is important, right? And poli sci and history are very much like
Yes, and philosophy
intertwined.
eventually delves in when
Yes,
you get
unfortunately. Yeah,
deeper
no,
in.
but yeah, so
Oh, there's great philosophers.
there can be. There's a yeah, but the philosophy professors are always just kind of like, "Ugh."
Oh, they love
But
Rousseau, and Rousseau's like the worst human of all time. I
yeah,
fucking hate
exactly.
Jean-Jacques
True,
Rousseau. He
true.
sucks.
Exactly. And I think one thing so the election happened. I was a poli sci
Mhm.
student. I was in my one of my first poli sci classes, probably the hardest one I ever took too, because it's an introductory course that's very hard to pass for whatever reason. But that was designed to be that way. Barrier to entry for the majors, people that wanted to major in it. And
Yeah.
who ended up being my advisor and also a good friend of mine, but at the time was just a professor to me. There were students who knew how liberal this professor was. They lined up in the back of the classroom, like former students lined up in the back of the classroom the day we went into class. It was the day after the election. It was a Wednesday, and people were lining the classroom to see his reaction. We didn't learn a single damn thing that day about it was like a it was more of like a geopolitics international relations class.
Yeah.
And we didn't learn a single thing about geopolitics that day. But that's how much these people knew is that they came to a class that they're not even signed up for and paying for to watch this professor's reaction because that's how
Is he
visceral
eating
people
his words
reacted.
geopolitically right now, though? Because like Trump's
I feel
strength
like
has
he
been
is.
geopolitical right now.
Yeah, and we haven't talked too much, especially since I moved, but,
Yeah.
I worked with him, so once I graduated, I ended up working at the college for a couple years,
Oh, so
helping
he was
him
like
and
not a leftist, but a liberal. So
a liberal,
he was a
correct,
liberal, not a leftist.
but I think over time, he's definitely gotten a bit more not leftist, but a bit more, like, buying into the media stuff, right? And so, after Charlie died, we talked, and because I had said, "Hey," because he couldn't make it to the wedding. He was invited to my wedding, like, I do have a lot of respect for him,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was like, "Hey, we're back from our honeymoon," so we caught up. I was like, "Yeah, this stuff with Charlie Kirk, I mean, my husband's met Charlie Kirk, and it's just insane. We were on our honeymoon when it happened, and
Yeah.
that, it was just our wedding day was 4 days before Charlie Kirk, was assassinated, and so, it was kind of a whirlwind of a week, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and so
Yeah.
we were talking about it, and he said, "He shouldn't have died, but I've got no love lost," and I just remember thinking, like, I feel like the guy I met when I started college wouldn't have said that,
Yeah.
He'd have a bit more empathy because he talks about empathy a lot, and of course, that's usually on a knock to conservatism. He'll make fun of liberals too. It's not like he doesn't do that. He'll do that as well. Um, but it was one of those things that I think really opened my eyes, especially after Charlie died, how much the media has influenced you to hate these people.
Yep.
And Savannah Guthrie's another example of like bad things happening to people we don't agree with. And we're like, I hope everything's okay. I will be heartbroken if it comes out that they don't find her mom alive. I will
Yeah.
be
No, it'll be
devastated
awful.
for her, especially as someone who's lost a mother. I understand just how devastating that can be. And at any age, I was obviously quite young, but
Yeah.
I still know just how heartbreaking and devastating that is. My stepmom's mother, we were out of town for her service. She passed away in December, and so it's never easy at any age, right? My
And
stepmom has
especially,
been
like, it was never easy, but in, like, in this circumstance, like,
even worse. It's
you said it was like
public.
yours was medical, like, it's a
It's
big thing,
public. It's
and it could be, like, a
politics,
member of
and
the
it's
family as well,
it
that
could,
the
but it could
rumor
be like
was.
political weird, like, and it's hard because we don't know the motives, right? And so I don't
If
want to
this is
ascribe.
political too, it's like and here's the difference too, because if this is political, I don't think there's gonna be a single conservative that said, "Well, it's Savannah Guthrie, so it's okay." Like, all the
No,
conservatives are go,
no.
"We will line up to kill this person with you." Like, we will all, like,
Like,
line
we
him on the
are
wall,
like,
like, we will be wi
put me on
Yes.
the jury. Put me on the
Yes,
jury.
yes, if you
Like,
wanna convict this
seriously.
guy, yes.
Yeah, like,
Ugh.
and I think that's where, like, people are saying that he's bringing up Erica Kirk, and God bless
Conservative media
Erica.
with
My goodness.
Erica is crazy, so I don't know
God
which side you lean. I just think people need to leave Erica Kirk the
Yes, God
fuck
bless Erica Kirk
alone.
is what I'll
Like,
say. God bless her as a mother, as a widow.
here's the
She's gone
thing too,
through
it's
some of
like,
the
if
worst
she
stuff.
came out and sobbed every time, oh, it'd be performative. If she came out like she is now and just trying to lead the
She's not
company and showing her
emotional.
children strength, like,
Yeah,
we don't know if she's emotional behind closed doors. She
I'm
could be
sure she
home
is.
crying every single day, and we
I'm
don't
sure
need to
she
know,
is.
but the thing is too, again, and, being a woman now trying to lead a company, if she
Mhm.
showed weakness like that,
Yeah,
oh, she
oh,
should
they
never
would
have
come
led
for
that
her.
company. Why is she there? She
Exactly.
should just let someone else. Why isn't someone else leading? Like, people just need to go away and leave
And
Erica Kirk alone.
you've
Candace
seen my
is a
content.
Candace
Yeah,
is a
you
piece
know
of
how I
shit.
feel about her because you've seen my
I haven't
content.
liked Candace Owens forever. Like,
Same
she's
here,
on the
same
left.
here.
Candace is on the
She's
left. She never
a
left. She's a
nut
grifter.
job. She's a nut job, and touch on
Yeah.
this really quick because this is what half of my content's been about, is this
I mean, you have
situation.
so many videos.
Yes, I my 5 videos. Yeah, no, I just, if you guys don't know Colonel Kurtz, she's a good friend of mine. She's also probably someone you'd wanna reach out to for more pop culture, but she's awesome.
Let's do
Um,
it.
Colonel Kurtz is the best. She's such a good person. She's been helping fill in on days Mary's not there for PCC. We love
That's
her,
awesome.
but she's been also going kinda, uh, live streaming when Candace streams to react, and she's done reaction videos, and we've talked about it quite a bit, and she's on the same side there too. Like, there's so much wrong with the way that Erica's been treated, and no matter what she did, she was never gonna get it right to someone,
No.
right? She I will say Erica is the best example of strength I think a lot of young women could look up to, and poise, and to get up and that's it. I'm not a public crier. I don't like crying. Um, like I cry at a couple funerals, and that's the most public crying I've ever done.
Yeah.
And so I relate to her in that way. For her to get up on that stage and forgive that young man for what he did to her husband is the best example of Christian faith. And it's not her being guilty. It's none of that. It's none of the conspiracies. It really is, in my opinion, as simple as a crazy ass liberal leftist, crazy furry whatever found a security loop at the wrong is, wrong time, wrong place. Because I don't want to say right time, wrong place, 'cause that's messed up. So
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
but for him, he would say that, right? He found a security hole and did what he thought he had to do, which is so messed up in so many ways, and took Charlie, who was such an incredible human being. And if you have that high of an opinion of Charlie, like Candace claims to, why would you think he would marry a woman who's not just as fantastic as he is? Um, he's wonderful. She's wonderful. I have nothing but good things. I've never met Erica. I don't know Erica, but I will say, God bless her. I pray for her. We love
I'm a
her.
wee tad more conspiratorial. Well, I don't think TPUSA had anything to do with it or Erica, but I
No,
do think he wasn't alone. There
I
was
don't think he
way
did it
too
by
many
himself.
things. Yeah, and I think
Yes,
that they're covering up a little more than they know with the
but I
FBI.
don't. But the as far as I guess I think
TP
they're
and Erica
covering
were
it
not
more for the.
involved at all.
No, no, no. Right. And for me, I think other people are involved. I think they're not sharing it because they don't want to give the defense more than they need
Mhm.
to. Candace has done more than enough of that. But I don't think he was like alone, like literally did it on his own. I think he was probably the only one that went up and actually did it, but there was
Yeah,
definitely a whole
yeah.
conspiracy behind this because there's
Yep.
no way you get to Charlie Kirk without a massive conspiracy behind it. But I don't think the conspiracy was his friends and family. I think the conspiracy was a bunch of
Yes.
nut jobs that didn't like what he said and they were big mad at something he said one time in a clip, and they all egged each other on and they were all mentally ill and this
Mhm.
happened, right?
And we
And
see them with these signal chats for the ice watch and stuff like
right,
that. Like,
exactly.
would
Exactly.
it be too far to think that they were conspiring and he was the one that
We
was
know
like,
they
"Hey, I'm the
were.
closest. I'm a good shot." Because he's a person that used to brag about how good he was with the shot. He fired guns his whole
Mhm.
life. That he was
Yep.
the one that would be like, "Hey, listen, I'm close. I'm a good shot. Get
And
me an
I'm mad, I'll
opportunity
do
and
it,
I'll do
yeah.
it." And is that too far fetched? And the fact that none of this has come out that they've really like found, they found here's a few text messages, but nothing explaining like how or like Julie, like it's again, it's so many of the stuff, things are fishy. We barely know anything about the Trump attempted assassin. Like they just killed him
Yeah.
and we don't know anything. That's gone.
And
Like
then the other
the
one got
Vegas
sentenced to life
shootings.
in jail today. The
Yeah.
other would-be assassin got I think a big thing about it, and this is just me knowing kind of the legal processes of things, I
Yeah.
would say they're just not trying to put out more because of all the public speculation. It's already such a public trial.
Yes.
They have the information and they will release the information when the trial's happening. I don't think it's meant to
I don't
like
know if I could
not
trust Cash Patel or the
I don't
DI,
trust Cash Patel,
the
but
Department of Justice or the FBI right now with the how badly they flubbed Epstein. Like
That's
it's
true, but
hard to trust.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that the reason we don't have everything is because
Again,
that would be bad for the trial.
I
I
have
know we're
been
going long
holding
here,
on.
but I just wanna.
I've been trying to hold on to the fact that
Yeah,
maybe they have, that maybe they're building a case on the Epstein
or
people, which
maybe
is why
Erica
they're
said
not
she doesn't
going
want
for it.
something released because it's
Maybe.
close or it's I don't know, right? But with the Epstein stuff, we've
Well,
seen them
according to
bungle that.
Candace, Erica's the only one that can
True.
ask her to stop. And,
And then when Erica asked her to stop, she said no because, of
of course
course,
I'm not
that's
going to stop. Like, God,
and
I
there's
don't
just
hate
so many
anyone, but
things,
I
like,
dislike her.
I don't hate anyone either. I always tell my husband
Oh, no,
I
I
don't
do
wanna
hate
have hate in
people.
my heart.
I hate PDF files. I hate them.
Okay, well, that's again, we're on the same page because I always say I don't hate anyone unless you're like a kid, mess with kids. That's what I
Yeah.
always say. I'm like, dude, you want to mess with kids? I
Oh,
hate
God
you.
bless Alex Rosen with Predator Poachers. He's been on
I
Tim's
know
Cast a
he's
few times.
oh my gosh,
Alex
he's
came on the
so
show again
incredible.
early on Predator Poachers.
Love
We had
Alex
Alex on.
Rosen.
Alex is incredible. He does God's work, that man.
Amazing work, really. And we're sitting here just like gassing up all these other people, but like,
That's okay. Listen,
um,
I have no problem with
no,
that.
it's true. It's good to point out the good people in the space and to talk
Yes.
about them
Yes.
and to make sure we also talk about the people who maybe aren't so great. But I do think Erica is a good example of somebody who's been put in an impossible situation. And she is such, I mean, for those children, for her daughter especially, to be able to look up to her mom and see how her mom handled the situation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have so much respect for Erica Kirk, despite what people may have criticisms. I
Agreed.
will never critique a widow whose husband was publicly assassinated. I can't do it. I can't. You cannot be a Christian. You cannot
Mhm.
be a daughter or a son of Christ and do those things. You say you're religious, you're not. If you're out here attacking a widow, and there's nothing you can do to
They're
ever
just
convince
asking
me.
questions, Olivia. They're just
I know
asking
we
questions.
always joke. I'm like, I'm just
Just
asking
asking
questions, and we're like,
questions. Just asking
just
questions.
asking
This I'm not
questions.
accusing. I'm just asking questions.
No, it's the architecture of the situation, as Candace would say,
Archi
the architecture.
architecture. God, that video of
That
everything that
account.
she and then my biggest thing is it's you're Candace Owens. You have people that watch you. You have people that are listening to your show while you're doing it. Why is nobody correcting her? They almost hate her. Like honestly, they
Well,
almost
no,
hate her, but did not
seriously,
correct her. Like because here's the
or
thing:
like they
if
just
you
know
were
she's that dumb.
if you were just mispronouncing things over and over here, I'd imagine Brett is like, watching, and he is still would probably sit there and like text you and be like, "You're sounding dumb. It's not. That's not how it's pronounced."
That's not how
Like,
you pronounce that. Or he'd pull me aside after and be like, "Hey, it said like this, right?" But and it'd be one thing if it was one time, but it's like repeated over
oh,
and over and over and over again. And I just remember like watching with Colonel Kurtz, we were like, "Why?" And I forget what word it was. What would she
oh,
say?
compartment or a Sinai, and then her guest had the connector, and it's like it's
And she
Sinai,
still
like
didn't say it
Sinai.
right after. It
Yeah,
was
like
like
it's Sinai.
the
Like,
Sinai. It's Sinai, dude.
here's
Like, are
the
you
you're
blind?
such a Christian, but you don't know Sinai.
That's like
Mount Sinai,
base
like you're such a
biblical
Christian, you don't know
101.
Sinai. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me started. Like, I never. Here's the thing, and I've said this before. Candace has done some things for the movement. Her things on Congress, on Capitol Hill, where she was like
Sure,
going
but
out
it's
like,
all been wasted now
and it's all
with
performative
this.
though. It was all grift. That's all it
Yep.
was. Like it's you could do great things, but I could still want to discard you. So uh,
Adam says it's because 'cause they're dumber, so, like, they're less intelligent than she is, so they can't correct her. Maybe true. It's
possibly.
incredible to me I feel bad for her husband. I'm like, "Dude,
I
just run,
don't.
just." I do and I don't because he's obviously supporting this, he's been silent, but,
Mhm.
like, I can't imagine, like, Brett would be like, "I'm taking away your phone, I'm locking you, like, you are going to a freaking asylum, like, you are done." Like, I mean, out of love, right? He'd be like, "You have lost the plot, something is severely wrong, we need to get you help," out of love,
Out of
but it's
love,
fine.
we are going to fix you.
Yes, and, it's been almost 5 months to the day that Charlie passed away. That'll be
It's
next week.
crazy. It's been that
Because
long.
again, now I can always know how long it's been since Charlie died because we got married that same week. So I will now know, almost down
That's
to the day,
that's
exactly how long it's
almost
been.
sad that that's, like, something you have to associate with one of, like, your happiest days of
Yeah,
all
you know
time.
what? Like, it's
Like
kinda crazy. So, we were on our honeymoon, we were and I've told this story, we were driving from Toronto over to Niagara Falls that day.
yeah.
And funny not funny enough, but weirdly enough, my mom died on September 10th,
Mm,
2015.
okay.
10 years,
Wow.
yes, and
Wow.
so 10 years to the day, and so that day, I was already kinda like I was trying to just be like, "Okay, good mood," my mom would be so happy to, stop talking about cats. No, I'm gonna tell him to talk about them harder.
Meow.
I'm gonna make him open the show with the cats tomorrow now just for that comment, but, like, open it and give your public profession of love for the animals,
He
but
was the glue of the movement.
yeah, he was, and I remember I remember it so vividly, I'll never forget this moment, this is, like, how I imagine people with JFK felt, but we were
Yeah.
in the car, we had rented a car, we were driving. Canadians can't drive, and there's a lot of problems with Canadians, but they can't drive, and I remember we're, like, driving, I'm driving because I get motion sick if I don't drive, fun fact, so, I'm driving, he's in the passenger seat, and Tim put a message out to the company saying, like, "I don't know anything, but Charlie Kirk was shot." And Brett goes, "Oh my god, Charlie Kirk was shot." Now, mind you, in my brain, Charlie Kirk was not shot bad because in my head, I'm thinking of the Trump shooting and when
Yeah.
Trump was shot and it was, like, grazed his ear by the grace of God, but in my head, I'm thinking a flesh wound, right? Because that's, like, in my brain, like, "Okay, we'll hear from him soon,"
Well, they're so
and
larger than life too. You never think that
correct.
Charlie Kirk was gonna be gone
He
this
can't die,
soon.
like, not
Yeah,
this
he's
soon,
Charlie
no.
Kirk. You're not gonna
He's gotta
kill
get
him.
old, right?
Ah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I had my phone up, like, mounted for directions, and we get stuck in traffic, and the reason I remember this so specifically is because when my mom passed away, I got my brother a Build-A-Bear with her voice in it. You could press the paw and it's her
That's
voice.
awesome. That's really cool.
I smushed together some old voicemails so he could press the paw and he still has it, he can hear her voice. Well, I thought 10-year anniversary, I can't do her voice. We were on our honeymoon spending whatever money we really wanted to that we could, and so I said, "Well, we're halfway between the 2 places. I'm gonna stop Build-A-Bear, get a bear, like a memory bear of her on the anniversary of her death." It felt like the right thing to do, and so I was like,
Yeah,
"I'm gonna do
yeah.
it." So we stop and we do it, and we're in the car right after this. We probably would have already been at Niagara Falls if we hadn't made that stop. And I just remember that night, like, so he tells me, I'm like, what? And we're stuck in traffic. So I refreshed my feed and the video came up.
Yeah. It's that burned in my brain, that video.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we get to our hotel and we're checking in. And I'm like, kind of just like, what the hell? And Brett's just trying to like stoic, right? Get us
Process.
checked in. And I'll never forget standing on our balcony and we're watching all this life, all these things happen. People that don't even know who Charlie is, or maybe they do, but they don't know about it yet. I'm
Yeah.
watching people go walking down towards the falls, people walking into the museum, like the wax museums, or going to the arcade. And I'm just sitting here, like knowing this thing happened. And people were finding out very quickly at that point. But I just remember like I was relieved, I think, not about obviously what happened to him, but I was relieved that we were where we were.
Yeah.
Because if we hadn't been where we were, I think it would have been a lot harder for me. And I want to say too, props to Mary and Tate was co-hosting that day in place of Brett at PCC. They were set to go
The
live
ground holding it down.
10 minutes after this news really came out and was super public. And they got on and said, we can't do that. We can't do it. We can't do it right now. Our friend has been shot and we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But they still gave the message and signed off. I was very proud of them for doing that. They did it so well.
Absolutely.
And, they handled it the best way they could. And I just remember being like, we should go and get dinner or like,
No, I don't know Kentucky
like
Ballistics real quick. Unfortunately, I've never heard of them.
I remember being like, we should go get dinner. We should go do something because there's nothing we can do. There's nothing
Yeah.
we can do.
And you guys
And
are on
we
your
did.
honeymoon. You have to.
Right. And we still
And the
went and
thing is,
enjoyed it. And now we
and
always say we
Charlie
have to go
Kirk
back,
would have
but
wanted you guys to continue on your honeymoon. That the type of
he
guy he
loved
was, he would have
marriage,
been like,
right? He
yeah, just
loved
go do it.
marriage. And I was like, there's nothing we can do. If our friends need us, we have our phones. We will pick up any phone call. I told Mary, you got to call me, girl, call me. I will
Yeah.
answer the
Yeah.
phone. I don't care where I am. I will find a quiet place and I will pick up that phone. But I just remember it was like the highest of highs just 4 days before that we're married, celebrating with all of our loved ones. Plenty of people who knew Charlie were there. And so it was like this weird whiplash, right? And it was like,
Yeah.
but again, I think we were at the best place we could have been because we weren't thrown into, I think if we had been with our friends at Tim's property, it actually would have been a lot sadder for us and a lot worse
I
because
can't imagine all the
Tim
crying
was
that
good
was going
friends
on there.
with a
Yeah.
lot, and
A
Tim
lot.
was good
Can't
friends
imagine.
with Charlie, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so watching all of this, I was like, I'm glad that we're not in it right now because I
Mhm.
think that would have been a lot harder. We almost did our honeymoon like 6 months later. We talked about doing that, and then we're like, oh, we'll just go but we were very close. I mean, there was like a 95% chance we didn't go on our honeymoon. We did, and I finally was like, let's just do it. We're gonna regret it if we don't. And if I hadn't just made that one decision, we would have been back. And
It's
I mean, it was
crazy.
just weird to watch this life going on, and life goes on, right? That's what
Yeah.
happens. But
Yeah.
it was
Unfortunately.
crazy to watch. But I do think it's important to kind of wrap up everything we've talked about today. It's very important in a world of Elijah Shaeffers and Sarah Stocks and fake people to remember that there are people like Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk.
Yep.
There are people like Tim Pool, for example. People who are what they say they are, and that is like if we want to put this in a nice, kind of
Neat bow.
put it in a nice little bow. Yeah, The Look of Despair on Mary Tate, and yeah, Libby Emmons. If you guys know Libby Emmons,
Yeah,
who's
Libby's
also a
fan
good friend of
I love
Charlie's.
listening to Libby, she's fantastic, and
Libby's
so
she was
shout out
also
to her, the Pod
she's got a
Millennial.
podcast.
Libby has her podcast, Pod
Yes.
Millennial for Post
Go do
Millennials,
it.
so
Go watch it.
yes.
She was gonna be on PCC that day, and that
Yeah.
was the other reason they were like, "Well, we can't like, Libby's gotta report on this. We can't do this." I definitely was, like, tearing up as I was driving, and especially when they went live, I was like, "Oh my gosh," like, the looks on their faces. Tate's broke me. I've seen Mary in serious situations. We had known Tate for a few months at this point. Tate was at our wedding, Mary was at our wedding.
Yeah.
Um, and the looks on their faces was very I don't know, confused, upset, despair. I mean, it was just heartbreaking to watch your friends go through this too. And so,
It's
but to
miserable.
wrap this all up in a nice, pretty little package here and be a bit more optimistic, there's going to be a ton of Elijah Schaefers. There's going to be a ton of Sarah Stocks out there. There's going to be a lot of people that you're not going to vibe with, and they're going to be fake, and that sucks, right? Be fake and gay and stupid.
Yep.
There's going to be those Charlie Kirks, or like us, dare I say, us sitting here having this
Yes,
conversation.
go try to be a Charlie.
Go be a Charlie. If you're a woman, go be an Erica. I highly recommend. I'm trying to follow in her footsteps. It's funny that the ongoing joke because everyone's always like, "So when are you gonna have kids? When are you gonna have kids? When are you gonna have kids?" We're getting there, you guys. When we have a permanent place to bring those kids up,
I could imagine, yes,
it's happening. Okay,
once it's there.
conversations are there. The foundation has been, we are a very strong couple.
Yep.
And for those of you wondering
God bless both
how
you.
can I be have such a great relationship, communicate with each other, even if you disagree, you communicate and you don't go to bed angry and you
Argue.
communicate. Okay.
Arguing's a good thing. Don't let it get too far, but
yes,
argue.
but you're gonna have disagreements and arguments, and you don't have to fight. You don't have to be fighting. You can have arguments and
You
disagreements.
can have
and
nothing fights and little
respectfully.
bickers, but that's okay. That's part of it. But
Yeah, so make sure, please do that.
absolutely.
It's
And,
very
and just
important.
speaking of good people, and this will wrap it up because we've been going for 2 hours. I appreciate
I
your
know.
time. You're awesome, Olivia.
Of course.
It's that day, it was burned in my brain. Same thing with
Yep.
you. I found out on a Discord. It was just sent, and
Wow.
I thought it was
Yeah.
fake. We all were like, "This, we don't know if this is real."
Honestly, if it hadn't come from Tim, I don't think I would have believed it.
And I
Yeah.
saw the video, and it was like, that's devastating.
Like
And
I knew the second I saw that video. I was like,
it was
I knew.
the next day. I just had so much, and like I don't idolize anybody. I don't get emotional, and that's not me. But it was like just something about that moment. I just needed to come on and stream and vent. So I had reached out to a few people that I'm friendly with in this space, and I'm like, hey, I'm just going to go on and vent. You're more than welcome to join me. and I was venting, and this is a good person that I really think Brett should consider having on PCC. Melee Games is a channel on YouTube.
Okay.
Melee James and Melee K, they're fantastic. They're married. Kay came on the show, Charisma. She came on the show with me, and we just had the best vent session. And if I didn't have that vent session with Melee K, I don't know how I would have stayed sane. Me
Honestly,
and
if I hadn't
her,
been on my honeymoon
yeah,
with my husband, like, I don't know how I would have gotten through it because we could escape. We could go. We went to the arcade that
yeah,
night and just reality wasn't real
yeah,
for like 2 hours.
yeah.
Like,
If you're just talking about good people, like the Melee Games people, James and Kay, Kay coming
yeah,
on
send me
there, like,
their information. I will forward that because he's always looking for other people
oh
to
yeah, Melee,
bring
you'll
on.
love
So,
James and Kay. Like they are
yeah.
friggin' awesome, and they go on. I know Brett has been on Side Scrollers with Stuttering Craig.
Yeah, yeah.
Kay is always on there. She is
Okay,
on
I've
there
met
all the
Craig
time.
in person. I can say
Listen,
that.
and
I've met
Craig
Craig.
is one of those people that if good to Craig means good to me. He just seems like he's
Yes.
one of those people that
Yes.
wholesome, honest. If Craig
Good
gives the
guy.
rubber stamp, then that's good enough for me.
I've met him in person. We went to a
He's 6
movie
foot
because he was in
forever.
town. Yes, he is so
I've never
tall. We
met him.
went
I'd want
to
to meet Craig, but he's
He's
6
a
foot
very
forever.
nice
So
guy. My
I
first
was a
impression,
fan
I
of
didn't
Craig with Screw Attack back in the day,
see,
and
I
probably
didn't
Brett
know
was
who
as
he
well.
was.
Brett
I had
probably knew
no
who he
idea.
was. Yeah, Screw Attack. I
Probably.
used
I
to
had no
watch
idea
all
who
the
this guy
time then.
was. We're going to a movie with him. We're picking up this guest. We're all going to the movies for a movie review the next day on the show. Cool. Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
And really nice guy. And
yeah.
so, I
And
mean,
another guy, you
fantastic
get
people.
what you get.
Yep.
But all
Yep.
right, Olivia, thank you so much. This
Yes,
was
thank
a ton
you.
of fun. I know I told you before the show, we're like 45 minutes to an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. I'm keeping it to 2 hours tops. I think we
There
can go for like so much longer, but now let me go because this screwed up. Now I'm going to go to the main page, restream. I don't
you
know
go.
what we're doing here, but this is your page here. Everyone needs to go and listen. I am going to go and do my due diligence here because
Oh,
this
yes.
is the experienced podcast. You want to go here and click the
There you go,
subscribe button
subscribe.
there
I
and
am
make
gonna be
sure you
I do
subscribe.
have 2 videos kind of coming
Nice.
down the pipeline right now. I go through phases where I'm really motivated and I'm really not. So I try to get content out. I have the 5 videos, again, almost all Candace with,
Yeah.
I have another collab with Colonel Kurtz coming out soon about the Blake
Very
Lively
cool.
stuff. If you're into Hollywood, the Blake Lively situation, I have a video coming out with her this week
Is
about it, and I also have
I've heard there's some more stuff going on. They just subpoenaed like
yeah.
Taylor Swift's like texts and stuff.
Yeah, that's what we reacted to was that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very funny, and I'm also going to be doing a video actually about Minnesota and Brett's from Minnesota, so I've got ties. I'm going to be
Nice.
talking about the Ice Out movement in Minnesota, so you guys should watch that and follow me on X. I'm on everywhere. If you just look up Olivia Dasovic, I think I'm the only person in the world with that name, so you'll find me.
There you go.
You guys can
Right
find
here.
me by
Go
just
find
looking up
her.
my name.
Boom.
Yes, go find me.
You'll see the lovely picture of them at their wedding. It's so
Yes, I
cute.
don't even know. It looks posed. I don't know. That was not a posed photo. We were pointing, I think, at
That's
my
awesome.
cousin's kid, and he
That's
was
so good.
dancing, and we went like this to him because he was dancing like this, so we did this, and so it's not posed. That's my favorite
Some of
thing.
those are the
So,
best pictures you get are the ones on the dance floor of just doing like the
yep.
like random things. But oh man, Olivia, this was fun. Thank you so much for coming on. We will certainly have to do this in the future. I think we need to
Yes.
have a Dasovic takeover stream where we have you and your husband on here, and I think that would be a lot of fun. But thank you for everyone that watched, everyone that was in the chat. A bunch of the newcomers. I appreciate you guys. I know you came here for Olivia, but I hope you decide to come around
Yes,
again.
stay, you guys.
Rollin and Nate, you guys are always here. We appreciate, you guys coming in, and make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Go find us on the socials. But that will do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We appreciate you all. Bye-bye now.